Maybe I should have it that way. It needs to be like tilted off to the side. Hello. Hi, guys. Hello. Happy Wednesday. Golly, time flies. I swear, I don't know how we got to this time already. It's crazy. How is everybody? I'll wait another second or two. Try to get us straight because we're a little bit crooked. Always a little bit crooked, it seems. Hi, guys. Sarah, so I see Sarah in. Sarah says, hi, everyone. Haven't gotten close to finishing the December documented book yet. And here I am. But Disney, you got to do it, right? Got to do it. Here's the nice thing. You have plenty of time, right? You have plenty of time to get this one done, to get the December one done. No stress, right? No stress is allowed. Hang on. So, it is Wednesday night. It is 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and that's where I live. I live in Utah, Mountain Time. So I try to, as much as I can, balance. Well, we did one this past weekend on a Sunday. It was Halloween, so we did a class then. And now we're doing one on a weeknight. And I also try to balance between doing them at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Well, really, I should say 5 p.m. Pacific Time and 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. I know that's a little bit early on the West Coast, but then we also have East Coast. So bottom line is, whether you're watching live and you need to come in late or leave early, no worries. And then I know lots of you can't make the live. So if you can't make the live, you watch the replay and all is good. So looks like we've got a couple more jumping into the chat. Hi, Joanne and Cindy and Nicole, Jody and Emily. Emily says she's ready for a fun night, ready for her next Disney trip. Wonderful. And Susan, hi from sunny Sacramento. It was sunny Utah. Well, I guess it's still a little bit sunny Utah, but it's cold. So I think the sun will be going down very shortly, and then it'll be really cold and it'll be dark Utah. Okay, friends. So hopefully everyone is here tonight for the Magic Disney Memories class. We have lots of fun in store. Before I say anything else, I want to talk about something very quickly. Your biggest challenge tonight. I just had some nuts. They're probably all in my teeth. Your biggest challenge tonight. There's so much product in this kit that your biggest challenge is going to be finding the piece that you're looking for. So while I'm doing a little bit of talking here up front, I recommend, if you don't already have a couple of containers, whether they're divided containers or whether they are little trays like this, whether it's a Tupperware or a shoebox lid or a muffin tin, something like that, I would recommend getting at least one out, if not two, and starting to open your 2 die cut packages. Between those 2 die cut packages, there are 200 die cuts. And I love that about Doodlebug. Their die cut packs are always jam-packed with so many good die cuts. So it's the good news. The bad news is that there's a lot, which means you may struggle a little bit trying to find things. So I have spent some time ahead of time organizing my die cuts, and what I've done, and you'll see this when I flip the camera, but I have 2 little divided trays like this. You don't need a divided tray, but in one I have put the chit chat. So the chit chat are the words and other little things, but you can see I don't want to dump those out. I have organized these in the way that they make sense to me. So all the words are up here, the little like speech bubbles are there, the circles are there, some word strips there, and then bigger word strips here, tickets and banners anyhow. But that makes sense to me, and that's the key. You want to organize things in the way that makes sense to you, so that when you're looking for something, you can easily find it. Even if all you have is a tray, even a big cookie sheet, just so you can at least spread the pieces out, and it will make it easier for you to find what you're looking for when you need it. In my other divided tray, I have put the odds and ends, and these are kind of all the icons. And there's some really big ones, so I just kind of put all the really big ones together because those will be easy to find. There's a lot of little food icons, so I have a little section there for my food icons and for some little travel things and some park things. So bottom line is, whatever makes sense to you to organize so that it will be easier for you to find things as you're looking. I don't know, maybe you'll do it by color or whatever you want to do. But as I'm talking, take a few minutes and start organizing your things. And if you need a little bit more time, you know what? That's the beauty of what we're doing. Just hit pause, grab what you need, take your time kind of organizing. That is one of the things that I had on your supply list that I recommended for you, was to have a couple of containers or something to separate those things. So hopefully everybody's good for that. Hi, Kelly from Ohio. So I think with that said, I think we're going to go ahead and flip the camera. If you have not already started opening those packages, go ahead and open them. I have also opened up my little package of heart enamel dots. As we're working with the hearts, you have heart enamel dots that coordinate with the collection. You also have little heart die cuts. So just know that you have two different types of hearts. You have a package of the envelopes and cards. So I've opened those up and kind of set them in a separate pile just so I have those near, but I'm not like looking through everything every time I look for one of those. I think, especially in a project like this, organizing your things ahead of time is super, super helpful. All right. So I think what we're going to do, I am going to turn off the overhead lights. I will turn on the side studio lights and flip the camera and we'll get going, okay? So hang tight while I walk across the room and turn off the lights. In case you were wondering, I will not be teaching with the ears on because they will fall very quickly. So just for show, right? Ooh, look at that. Isn't that light interesting? That's what happens when I turn off the light in here. That's how dark it's kind of getting. All right. Hopefully my water's okay there. Okay, so now let's go ahead and flip the camera. So ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. I need to clean that little guy off. Sorry about that. It's looking a little bit blurry, so that should make it a little bit better. And now we'll turn on the side lights. Oh, and I also need to plug in my telephone because my telephone is me and Scatter and Mickey Mouse. That is what we are filming with. Okay, and studio lights. I have my fan with me in case it turns out that I need that. All right, I just need to make a quick adjustment. I had these adjusted for some filming I was doing yesterday, and I need to just move them a tad because they will blind me the way that they are right now. If you are kind of still working on organizing your things, great. If not, take a quick look at the supply list and make sure you have, let's take those ears off. Make sure you have what you need. This is kind of funny. These are our younger son, Sam's, that, gosh, oh, look at all the dust back there. I think we got those for him when he was very, very young. I don't have ears. I know that's funny. I know some of you have like huge collection of ears. I don't have ears. I love Disneyland, but I just don't have any ears. Next time I go, I'll have to get some. Alrighty, let's see. Is that good? Are we good there? Gosh, I'm still like blinded. I feel like I'm like deer in the headlights. All right, you guys still with me? Okay, there we go. Joanne said, love the Mickey ears. Okay, friends, so if you have not taken a virtual class with me before, let's just talk about that very quickly. Whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay. If you're watching live, there is a chat that takes place. And I see that over on the right-hand side of my screen. I don't know how you guys see that. Depends on which device that you're watching from. I know some of you watch from a big TV, and in that case, I don't know that you can see the chat. Anyhow, if you have questions, that is a really great place to ask them, but that's only if you're watching live. I realize as we get going, it's a little hard to interact in the chat because you guys are working like crazy, but as I kind of have a chance to glance up, then I can see if you've left a question in there. If you are watching the replay, you will not see the chat, but you can obviously leave a comment on the video itself if you have any questions, and then I will respond to you after I get notified that you've left a comment. There was one more thing I was going to say. Oh, yes. If you're watching live, you have a lot of the same options in terms of how you are watching as you do if you're watching the replay. So you can stop the video, of course, at any time. You can pause the video. You can rewind the video. If you have paused or rewound the video, as I am teaching live, you can fast forward. But obviously you can't fast forward if you haven't paused or rewound. And then of course, if you're watching the replay, you can, do anything you need. Stop, start, pause, rewind, fast forward. One thing, this video is exclusive to the people that purchased the kit or bought access to the class. So I just ask that you guys not share this link with anyone. I would very much appreciate that. As such, you will not see it listed on my YouTube channel. So let's say 2 weeks from now, you want to, finish the project and you go to my YouTube channel. You will not see the link because it is an exclusive class. It's not for everybody. Either keep hold of the email that I sent you that has the link to class, or I think you can add it to your watch list. Either way, you will have access to this video. Should be as long as YouTube's around, unless they do something crazy. But I don't take it away after a while, and you can watch it more than once. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What I like to start out with, we are going to do a couple things before we actually dig in and start working. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to have us take everything out of our book, our album, and then we will put it back in the order that we will be working on it. That makes it a little bit easier. So each time we get to a new page, you're not scrambling trying to find each new page. So it's the first thing that we will do. The second thing that we will do is cut our papers. So with your album, if you haven't already opened it from the package, go ahead and open it from the package. If this is your first time working with an album like this from Simple Stories, they make, I think now, maybe 11 or 12 different colors. So the color, you see it on the spine. In this case, we're using black because that goes so well with Disney. When you open it up, you have the insides. The insides coordinate with the color on the spine. So very first thing when you open it up, you're going to find, just as I did, when you open it, it's going to do that, right? So this is basically one big piece of cardboard or one big piece of chipboard. It is scored right here in the corners, but it's still one big piece. So while it's one big piece, we're going to have a hard time working on it, right? Because it's kind of like this. So what I always like to do to start, I take either end in each hand and I gently just kind of stretch it, okay? I'm gently stretching it. I'm just kind of stretching those scores right there on the corners. So as I stretch that a little bit, then that will now lay flat. It's going to be a lot easier for me to work on it as it's laying flat. So just be gentle. You don't want to be too rough with it, right? We don't want to break it. That will make it a lot easier. Okay, next up, let's go ahead and take everything out and let's talk about what comes in these albums. So I'm going to leave everything in a stack, but I'll actually have 3 different stacks. That'll make sense in a minute. As we pull kind of the top third of the stack, the top third of the stack has the colored pages, or the designer pages, I guess, if you will. And then below that, you have some office type pages. And I call these office pages just because there's a dot grid and a grid or graph paper, a line, and then kind of a ledger. So I'm going to stack both of those together off to my right or off to my left, whatever you'd like to do. The next stack that you have, these are the 3 chipboard dividers. So I am going to put those in another stack off to the side. The last stack are my pocket pages, and there are 3 different configurations. There are multiple pockets or multiple designs of each different configuration. So even these I'm going to leave in a stack because it's less that I have to kind of sift through to find. But as I look at these, the top several are just one large 6x8 pocket, right? One big old pocket. If I go through the stack a little bit, the next design or configuration I am going to see is this guy. This one has 2 4x6 pockets. So there will be several of those. And then right below that, we have our last configuration. And the last configuration is this, 2 3x4s and a 4x6. So let's go ahead and keep all of those together, also in a stack. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. So here I am all set up, all organized, and I just like turned my head to find the completed project, which I very much need to teach the class. I forgot to grab that. So let me grab that. If you are kind of still in the process of organizing your pieces, go back to organizing. You can, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. I totally spaced that. And now I need to find it. So bear with me for 1 sec. It's going to be in one of two places. Take a really quick break. I know where it is, downstairs. I'll be right back. I'm coming. Whew, okay, got it. While I was getting that, I grabbed a past album, a Disney themed album that I've done as well. So I thought I'd grab that. And as we kind of progress, I will show you a couple of fun examples of some things that you can incorporate. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay, now I need some water. Hopefully that gave you guys a nice little break. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let me get this open and put these off to the side, open this up, and we will get our things back in the order roughly that we'll be working on them. Okay, our very first page. Well, our first page is one that we're going to make. So, but the first page right now that we'll add back to our book is a pocket page. It's one of the pocket pages that is most likely on the bottom of your stack if you left them in a stack. The one that has 2 3x4 pockets and a 4x6 pocket. So 2 3x4s and a 4x6, go ahead and take that one and into your album like it's a book and you just read that page of the book. Next up, we are going to start with our first chipboard divider. So the one that has the tab at the top. That goes in next. Then we have a 6x8 pocket page. So one of our pocket pages probably on the top of your stack if you left them in a stack. One of your pocket pages that is one big 6x8 pocket. That goes in next. Next up, we have one of our designer pages, and it is one that has the diagonal. So our diagonal stripe, that guy will go in next. Remember, at any time, if you need another second or minute, whatever it is, to find something, just go ahead and pause the video and then start it again. So you'll be good. Next up, we have another one of our pocket pages, probably in the center of our stack. It has 2 4x6 pockets, okay? 2 4x6 pockets. After that, we have one of our designer pages, but one of the office ones. Office pages, I guess. It is the one that has the graph or the grid. Okay, so that is next. Next up, we have our second chipboard divider. Chipboard divider number 2, so it has the tab in the center. After that, we have a 3x4, 4x6 divided pocket page. So probably at the bottom of your stack, if you left everything in the stack. 2 3x4s and a 4x6. Jennifer just ate the fastest dinner ever, and now she's ready. I ate the fastest dinner too, handful of cashews. So I will be good and hungry when I'm done. All right, next up, another pocket page. This one is another 6x8, so one that was on the top of our stack. If you left them in the stack, now you can see why it's kind of beneficial to leave them in the stack. Makes things a little bit easier that way. That's one big 6x8. Hi, Laura from Florida. Joanne said these papers are nice and thick. Yes, the pages in the book. Is that what you mean, Joanne? They are, yes. These albums, I have worked with these albums, I'd say for at least a good, oh my gosh, not even 10 years. I bet 12 years. I worked for Simple Stories for 6 of those. So they're very nice quality. They're always just a great foundation to work with for your projects. Next up, one of our designer pages, this nice, really chunky black and white stripe. That guy is next. After that, we have another one of our pocket pages, one that has 2 4x6s. Cindy is in Florida too. Cindy and Laura in Florida. Okay, Cindy and Laura, I'm going to tell you right now, it is almost 8:30 your time. So, and this goes for anyone, right? This goes for anyone, because I know sometimes we have internationals as well. And when I say internationals, I don't mean Canadians. I mean all the way across the pond. So if you need to cut out any time, because as we get later and later, it gets obviously later and later for everyone, but it gets really late for you guys. So don't worry. You don't even need to say goodbye if you leave. You can just, rejoin, catch up later when you've had some sleep. All right, next up is one of our office pages. This is the one that is just like the regular old lined notebook paper. It does not have the numbers or like the ledger. It just has the regular old notebook paper. Next up, we have our third chipboard divider, or our last one. So the tab at the bottom. After that, we have another 6x8 pocket page, just one big pocket. Then we have another pocket page, which is one of our divideds. It looks like it is our last 3x4, 4x6 pocket page. So a 3x4, 4x6 pocket page. After that, we have another one of our office papers, and it is the dot grid. So it's the one that has all the little dots all over it. That guy goes in next. Next up, another one of our designer papers, the large kind of scattered polka dots. I love that. I think that's just so fun, and it's just kind of a fun take on a regular old polka dot because they're a little bit scawampus. That guy is next. Then we have another divided pocket page, so our 2 4x6s. And then, we have this guy. We should also have one of our 6x8 pocket pages left, all right? We will also end up using this guy, but we're going to do something a little bit different with this guy. So what I want you to do is I want you to put that right here in the back of your book. So when we're ready for this one, you'll know exactly where it is. We'll all just turn to the back and it'll be right there. If you have anything left over at this point, besides that small black and white polka dot and the 6x8 pocket page, just go ahead and put it back here too. As we start working, if we're working on a page and you get to that page and it's not the same one that we're working on, then you won't be worried. You'll go, oh yeah, I know where I put that. And then it will be in the back of your book. Okay? Okay. All right. So before we start cutting our paper, in case you didn't have a chance to look at the flip through video or listen to it, because I talked about a couple things in the video that I just want to talk about here. I want to talk about the way that I have designed the project in terms of like the order. And it doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing, but I think if you are aware ahead of time of what I've done, then it kind of just helps you to conceptualize things, but it also helps you to kind of be thinking about how you might be documenting your Disney trip. So whether it is a single trip, it is a trip you've done in the past, it's a trip you're going to go on in the future, whether it is your favorite Disney memories, whatever it is. I think knowing ahead of time how it's organized may help you. So I always do like a little bit of an intro at the very beginning. So our first couple of pages will just be an intro. Once we get to the first section, and the sections are divided by those chipboard dividers. So because there's 3 chipboard dividers, there are 3 sections. The first section, I have kind of put everything together. It's kind of like what happens when you first walk into the park. So whether you're walking down downtown Disney, and my reference point is Disneyland. So when I talk about these things, I'm referencing Disneyland because that's really all I know. The Disneyland in Anaheim. So whether you're walking down downtown Disney, whether you're parking in the parking lot, whether you're on the tram, whether you are buying your tickets, basically things that are happening before you get into the park, and then also when you get into the park. So after you buy your tickets, as soon as you walk in and you see the big grass hill with all the beautiful flowers, and you see the train, and sometimes the characters are there, and you usually take a picture there. You go under the little bridge into downtown or into Main Street and things like that. So that's basically what I have planned, those types of things to document in that first little section. So we have Main Street, we have kind of our little sign that's showing us all the places to go. I have a little list here of things to see as we keep going. There's a little thing here for Park Pass. We'll talk about this guy when we get to it and what we can do with it, but you have a little map there, right? A little map of the park. A lot of times the parade is happening, or parades, I should say, because sometimes there's more than one parade throughout the day or evening. So if you want to document the parade, but it's all of these things that are kind of happening either before you get into the park or as you are kind of just getting into the park. And that is our kind of first section. So when we get to the second section is all about the rides, right? Hang on. Oh, there we go. When I'm filming and I'm teaching, I'm also watching on my iPad so I can see what you guys see, and it froze for a second. So I think we're good. Somebody just do me a quick favor and pop into the chat and give me a thumbs up or let me know that we're still good and you guys can still kind of see what is happening here. Because I can see again, but I'm a little bit delayed. Okay, so second section has really to do about the rides. So second section in our book, all about the rides. Okay, good. Thank you, Jody and Joanne. Perfect. All right, second section, all about the rides. As we get going, you have tickets. You can have little things where you can put your park passes or your tickets or your fast passes. We'll talk about that as we kind of keep going. You have another list to list your kind of favorite things about Disney. More room, lots of room for the rides and things. As we get going in this section, one of the things I love about this collection that Doodlebug has done, you have to walk kind of a really fine line when you're a manufacturer when it comes to doing a collection like this, unless you have licensed officially with Disney. And most scrapbook manufacturers don't do that because it is outrageously expensive. So you have to walk a fine line. That's why in most collections, you don't see the full Mickey ears, or you don't see the names of some of the specific areas in a park or the rides. But Doodlebug has done a very good job with this collection of creating icons that are very representative of the rides that we know, right? So there's the I can't remember what that's called now. There's the boat. Look there's the teacups, the saucers. This one, love. This is like my very most favorite ride ever. The Jungle Cruise. So that's kind of fun. Great section to add just things about your favorite photos. Not your favorite photos, your favorite rides. Third section is all about, oh gosh, what did I do here? That's funny, isn't it? Okay. I did food and kind of the end of the day. Just because for me, Disney is all about the food, right? So many good things at Disneyland. Unfortunately, there's not an icon for one of my favorite foods at Disneyland, which is the chocolate covered banana. I love that so much. Anyhow, so you can document here your favorite moments, the fireworks, some of your favorites, either about this particular trip to the park or your favorites about the park in general. as we keep going. Couple of pages for the foods. You can also document autographs. So we'll talk about autographs and how you might do that as we get there. But lots of room for foods and a little bit more food, and then just some general photos, general themes, and then you could wrap up with the fireworks. So that is how I have organized the project. And if you want to follow along with me and do it that way, you can. But if you decide you want to mix things up, you can too. Okay, so now I'm going to put the book aside. You can put your book aside as well. We need to start cutting. We have a lot of papers, so we are going to start cutting. But the good news is most of the papers, we are cutting the exact same way. So I don't want you to go, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was going to be in the store for 2 hours of cutting tonight. You are not. So you're going to flip to the last page of your instructions. This is page 9. And on page 9, you have cutting diagrams, because I know a lot of us are visual, including myself. And then you also have the written instructions. So grab your trimmer and make as much room as you can at this point. Clear as many things off as you can. I'm going to bring my big trimmer in for this just because it's what I'm used to using, and it's a little bit easier when I do it that way. All right, so the very first paper that we have to cut, and this is a little bit hard to see, it tells us it's the white grid paper. So you should have a piece of white grid or white graph paper in your kit. There we go. It's probably about halfway down. You need a 6.5 wide by 8 3/4 inch tall piece, okay? So I'm going to cut off the product strip. One of the things that the instructions tell us is that I want you to save one of the product strips, but basically any paper besides this one. We just want one of the product strips that we will have this at the bottom, that Fun at the Park. So it doesn't really matter which one it is. We just want one that says Fun at the Park. But I didn't want to remember that while we're cutting off product strips. The rest of them, sometimes I save them, but in this class, we're not doing anything with them other than saving one. All right, so we need a 6.5 wide by 8 3/4 tall. So let's go 6.5 wide by 8 3/4 tall. That is all, I believe, that we are doing with this paper. So this will be extra. Go ahead and set everything aside with the exception of that. And then this will we will use this for part of our cover design. So go ahead and, well, you can start making a stack, because as much as you can try to keep your pieces grouped together, it'll help as we go. All right, the next piece that we need is the icons paper. So it looks like this. It is called Fun at the Park. The collection is called Fun at the Park, but it is also called Fun at the Park. I want to make sure you get the right one. It has the kind of castles and the fireworks on the back side. So that is the paper we want here that I'm calling the icons paper. So go ahead and trim your product strip off. And while I'm doing that, I might as well just keep this one. I'm going to just snip right here, right to the left, or excuse me, right to the right of the K. So I'm trimming off the little TM trademark, and I'm going to trim right here to the other side of the F. And I'm going to come in and get rid of that little piece that says double-sided cardstock, because I don't need that in my book. All right, and then if you had any kind of part of the pattern bleeding onto there, you can go ahead and trim that off too. So basically, we just want that little piece that says Fun at the Park. And you can go ahead and put that in your little container if you are using containers to organize. All right, so this says trim 2 6x8 and 2 4x6 pieces. So that's easy. We can cut it in half this way. So I want that to be vertical. So there's a 6 by 8. And by virtue of cutting that 6 by 8, I already have one 4 by 6. I'm going to do the same thing again. There is an 8. And there's my other 4 by 6. So I have 2 6 by 8s and 2 4 by 6s. It tells us trim a 3/4 inch tall, strip them from the bottom of one of these 6 by 8 pieces. So let's take one of our 6 by 8s, and we just need that to be 3/4 of an inch. So we're basically going to trim this to 7 1/4. All right. So this little guy that you have left over, maybe I'm just gonna set that over with my die cuts because we'll use that fairly quickly. And these I will stack on top of my stack that I have going. Next up, we have our 3x4 cards, or the postcards. I call them the postcards because on the back side, they are actually little postcards. And Doodlebug also named the paper postcards. So what we want to do here, our instructions tell us, we want to leave 2 of the cards connected. We want these 2 connected. So we want to keep Best Day Ever and the Main Street Trolley. We want those 2 connected. So let's start out with that first. Let's trim off the product strip. Let's see, didn't quite do that where I needed. Trim off the product strip, and I can trim this column. So columns are vertical, rows are horizontal. So right now I'm going to trim this column top to bottom. And you can see where your little cutting guide is. It's kind of that gray line. And our instructions said to keep these 2 together. So we'll come back and do that. Those 2 are together. I am going to start saving some of my smaller cards in a separate little container. I really like containers, and it just sometimes helps to have things more organized. So now the rest of our cards we can trim apart. We're trimming them all into individual cards. All right, so now I'm curious, while we're cutting the rest of these, do you have a trip in mind for this project? Is it a trip that you've already taken? Is it a trip that you're going on in the future? Is it a trip that you actually have planned in the future? Or is it just, oh my gosh, I love Disney so much, I'll know I'll be going again, so I want to do this now. I think this is probably, gosh, I don't know, my probably 4th or 5th, at least, Disney themed mini book that I have done over the years. And I have done all different kinds of things with them. Sometimes they are for a particular trip. Sometimes they are for a trip in the future when I'm making them. Other times they are favorite Disney memories. So here's the thing. If you don't have a Disney trip planned anytime soon, but you've done Disney a lot in the past, you don't have to have this be just for one trip. You can pull together memories of numerous trips or even numerous visits. I say trips because I don't live where there's a Disneyland, right? I don't live in Florida or California or Paris or wherever the rest of the Disneys are. So I say trip, but maybe you live in California, you live in one of those places. So you frequent Disney more often than I probably do. So whether it's a trip or a visit, yeah, I'm kind of going to use all that interchangeably. Oh, Susan is going in 10 days. So exciting. She said, but I'm making this for my niece for Christmas. Oh my gosh, what a fun Christmas present. Cindy said, family reunion next June at Disney World. Oh, that will be amazing, I'm sure. Sarah, going for New Year's Eve day to Disneyland with friends, some visiting from out of town. So many different things, right? So many different things to do and different times of year to go. So I love that. A group of us are traveling to Disney for a friend's 50th birthday in December, making this album for her. Look at you guys are so nice. Kelly's making it for her friend. Susan's making it for her niece. I love that. Jennifer said, columns are vertical, rows are horizontal. Me, mind blown. Jennifer, I consider myself whole-brained. So I kind of sit in the middle between left brain and right brain. I'm creative, but I'm also super analytical. Excel is my best friend. So that's probably where I go to the columns and rows, because Excel, everything's about columns and rows. Okay, next up, we have the squares paper. So it is the paper that has all the little squares on it. This guy. Joanne, we had to cancel our September trip, which this album was for, so now it will wait for our next trip, hopefully next year. Oh, Joanne, I hope so for you as well. Jody's making it for her daughter. How fun. Okay, so the squares. Our instructions tell us leave the 6 cards in the upper right corner connected. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want to keep those connected. Leave the 4 cards in the lower right corner connected. So what that tells me, trim apart the remaining cards. I can start out by just trimming off my product strip. Okay, that's easy. Get that out of the way. Because I want to leave these 6 connected, I know that I can cut vertically. I can start by separating my columns. I can keep these together and then I will separate it from that. Okay, so here we go. And it told us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep the upper 6 connected. So there we go. That is one piece. It will stay that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Onto my stack it goes. Next up, we need to leave the 4 cards in the lower right-hand corner connected. So these 4, which tells me I can come in and now cut off that column. Okay, we'll cut these. We'll separate all of these in a sec. So if I need to leave these 2 or these 4 connected, I can cut off the rest of these rows. All right, 4 connected and we had our 6 connected. So there we go. Now we can go ahead and trim apart the remaining cards. So we'll just trim these apart. We'll be using some of them. I can't remember, well, I know we use some of them. I don't remember if we use all of them or not, but, oh, yes, we need this guy too. Yeah, okay. They're so fun. This is a really good, if you haven't looked really through the products yet in your kit, this will give you a really good overview of what the collection looks like. It's just so stinking cute. This is actually the first time that I have worked with a Doodlebug collection in one of my project kits. I love Doodlebug. The people there are amazing. I buy a lot of their traveler's notebooks, but I really haven't used any of their collections yet in any of my project kits. So I figured that this one, because I love Disney so much, and who doesn't love Disney? So I figured this was a good one to kind of get my feet wet with. Okay, stress-free, right? This should all be stress-free cutting. We haven't done anything complicated. That's probably about as complicated as we're going to get when I say, let's keep these cards connected. So that's good. I do that by design. I do that on purpose. I know that anytime any of us pick up a trimmer, myself included, we lose our minds, right? We're all very smart individuals. We know how to do what we're doing, right? We know how to cut paper, but when you put a trimmer in our hands, we get nervous, right? We think we're going to mess up and we're worried about messing up, and then we second guess ourselves. And the more that we second guess ourselves, the bigger the chances that we are going to mess up, right? So I try to make our cutting as simple as possible so we don't get stressed out. All right, so there's all my little squares of the pieces I did not keep connected, and those, oh, I don't know, I'll probably just put all right back there in my little divided container. Okay, next up we have our tags. Tags. This sheet, okay? Instructions tell us, leave the mouse ear, I love this place, and small world tag connected. So we want 1, 2, 3. We want those connected. So let's start with that because we have some others that we want to keep connected to. Trim off our product strip. Okay. And we can cut these into rows to start. So 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. We'll cut them into rows to start, and then we will figure out what we need to keep connected and what we need to separate. These are now making me nervous because I just barely touched one, and if those fall on the floor, it's going to be like 52 card pickup, except it'll be like 200 die cut pickup, and then they'll be all unorganized, and then I'll be in trouble. So hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. Okay, so we know we want to keep these 3 connected, so let's grab those right now. I will set those off to the side, and well, we might as well disconnect. We might as well cut these apart now. So what we had left over, the car, the pack your bags, and that XOXO, except it's not XO, it's X Heart, X, well, it's X Heart, but it's like X Minnie Mouse and X Mickey Mouse, right? All right, those guys are separate. they can go right there. And then we need to, let's get these cut apart so then we can just not have to think. We want to keep Smile, Best Vacation, and Happy Place cards connected. So these three we want to keep connected. So let's go ahead and trim that right there. Those are connected. And now we can cut all these little guys apart as well. Lots of cutting. If you've done kits with me before, project kits, I love to use 6x8 pads because if we can use a 6x8 pad, we don't have to do as much cutting as we're getting started. But Doodlebug doesn't do 6x8 pads, so we get to play with all the fun papers. But it means that we need to do some cutting. All right, rest of these guys, basically everything along that top piece or top row that we had left over, those are all getting cut out individually. This part to me is relaxing. I know that some of you are like, oh my gosh, I hate this part. I hate it when we're cutting. It's just relaxing because that's kind of the chance I get to chit chat with you guys a little bit. It's a lot harder for me to chit chat with you guys when we're actually like putting things together. When I teach in person, I do a lot of chit chatting because when I teach in person, I don't make along with you. That'd be so hard to do. So when I teach in person, I tell you what to do and then I walk around and I chit chat and I tell stories. So really when we're cutting, that's the only time I get to do that. Okay, although in this one, I will work in a few more things. Okay, next up, journal elements. These are the journal elements, and these, simple, simple, simple. We are just cutting them all apart. So to start, we'll cut up the product strip, then we'll cut into columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can separate the cards in each of those columns. These are really fun, these journal elements, whatever I called them. There just will be really fun things to incorporate into our book. I love making lists, and so many of these are just so perfectly well suited for making lists. Making lists about our favorite memories from Disneyland, or Disney World, making lists about our things that we want to see, or our favorite things that we see, our favorite things that we do. Yeah, there is a little bit of a travel element in this. So like on this one, you'll see it says travel checklist. I actually did not use the front side of that. I used the back side. So as we get going, you'll see, but I did that because I know not everyone will travel somewhere. Well, I guess everyone has to travel somewhere unless you live at Disneyland. Not everyone will travel somewhere. So if you want to use that a little bit differently, you can, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, what we have left, we have 2 red polka dot pieces. We have both pieces of white cardstock. We have fireworks paper. We have camera paper. And we have this kind of stamp paper. All of these papers, we are cutting the exact same way. We are cutting them in half, so we have 2 6x8s, and then we are cutting them, or we're cutting them in half, so we have 2 6x12s, and then we're cutting them so we have 6x8s, and that will give us 2 6x8s, 2 6x4s. So this will just be a lot on repeat, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm just like seeing flashes of those things falling in my eyes. So I'm going to move those off to the side. So get ready to cut and cut, repeat, cut, repeat over and over and over. First cut in half, at least that's how I do it. I first cut in half, so I have 2 6x12s. And then I trim this to 8. So here we go. And that gives us a 6x8 and a 4x6. Now, that's pretty much the way, thank you, Doodlebug. I don't know that they intended to do that, but that is, it's like separated. Those little stamps are separated that way. So that fits nicely in a 6x8, and these fit nicely in a 4x6. The reason that we are doing all of these things 6x8, 4x6 is because our books are 6x8. or the insides really are 6x8. So that's just a really easy way for us to cut our papers. We have some pocket pages that need 4x6 cards. We have some pages that are 6x8, some pockets that are 6x8. So if we cut into 4x6s and 6x8s, it makes it super easy. All right, so this guy, make sure before you put it in the trimmer that you're rotating. We want things to be vertical. So here is a 6x12. Then a 6x8 and a 4x6, and a 6x8 and a 4x6. So you can decide how you want to group all of these things together. If you want to put all your 6x8s together, you can. If you want to put all your 4x6s together, you can. Or generally what I do is I just try to keep the patterns together. So I have the 6x8s of that pattern first, then the 4x6s, 6x8s, 4x6s. I tell you, organizing, at least for me, because it's a bit of a challenge. I learned prior to COVID, I had not taught virtual class before where I was making at the same time as I was teaching. So that took a little bit of I won't say practice, because I never practiced. I just jumped into it. But because I have to think extra hard. I have to think about what I'm doing, and then I also have to think about what I'm saying as I'm instructing you guys to do. So the more that I can be organized as I am getting set up, and the more I can be organized as we're working, the better. Now, I will tell you, and you know this if you've done one with me before, we get about halfway through, and it's a you-know-what show. There's stuff everywhere. It's just what happens. But if we can at least start off being organized, it's good. Okay. 6x8s, we're just continuing. 6x8s, so we cut in half at 6, and then I cut into 2 6x8s. Alrighty, we'll put those at the bottom of my stack. And another one. You guys are gonna dream about cutting 6x8s and 4x6s. Oopsie, don't lose those. So as we're oh boy. Okay, let's talk about what I just did. And this is okay, we're not worried. But I just did something different here. And there's definitely more than one way to get your 6x8s and 4x6s. I was thinking about something I wanted to tell you guys, and I kind of went into autopilot. But luckily I caught myself. So I've been cutting 6x12s and then cutting 2 6x8s. What I did here, I cut it 8 inches first. So 2 ways to do that, and I'm okay because 8. I'll just now cut this one in half. And then I will cut this guy in half. Woo! All right, so I have to be careful. I told you, it's hard to talk and do and teach at the same time. What I was starting to say though was I have been going to Disneyland since I was a little kid. My grandparents lived in Anaheim for many, many, many years. Joanne, let me see. How did you cut the photo strip paper? Where is it? It's the cameras. So the way that I cut the photo strip paper, I cut it on the camera side. And because then that way we all knew the way to cut it. So turn it to the camera side and cut it the camera side, then you don't have to worry because this is what we will all end up with on the back side, kind of our vertical photo strips. Okay, yes, I have been going to Disneyland since I was a little kid. My grandparents lived in Anaheim, and if you don't know Disneyland, Disneyland is located in Anaheim. So they lived, oh my gosh, not far from Disneyland at all. So we would go, my sister and I would go out every summer. And now I've got to think, we'd go out every summer and my grandpa would take us to Disneyland. And you guys, this goes all the way back to when there were ticket books for Disneyland. I'm that old. Yes, ticket books for Disneyland. And so you would go and you'd buy a ticket book. You wouldn't buy a ticket, an all-access ticket to the park. That thing didn't exist back then. You'd buy a ticket book. And the tickets were labeled A through E, the letter E. And the rides had a corresponding letter that went along with them, A through E. The not very exciting rides when you're a little kid are the A rides, like the train, right? Like the monorail, not too exciting. The E-ticket rides, oh, those were the good ones, like Space Mountain. Those were the E-ticket rides. And my grandpa would always hold the ticket books, and he would dole the tickets out. And the E-tickets always were the first ones to go, right? And then by the end of our time, we usually had a couple of A tickets and maybe a B or here and there. But yeah, so there's a song, I think it's Five for Fighting, maybe. Is that how it is? And he talks, you'll hear him say something about an E-ticket or an E-ticket ride, and that's a reference to Disneyland. All right, friends, I have all of my papers cut. So those are all my 6x8, 4x6s. These are my pieces that were either 6x8 or a little bit larger or a little bit smaller. And then we have, actually, I'm going to take those two and put them over here as well. And then we have that little guy. So now, after all of that cutting, we've spent an hour. We've spent an hour talking about organizing all of our product because that's really important. That will set us up for success. We have taken everything out of our album and we've put it back in the order that we're going to work on it. That will also set us up for success. And we've talked about how I organize the album, which I think that will help you guys to have a better perspective of what's going on, how I did it. So now we're ready to dig in. Well, we've already been digging in, but now we're ready for all the fun. Lots of fun, right? Okay, so I'm going to bring in my finished album, and I will bring in my album and my instructions. So what we are going to do, we're going to start out by adhering our piece of white grid that we had pre-cut. So that was the one that is 6.5 by 8 3/4. So depending on where in your album this piece sits, your white grid may overlap that. The reason I say that, I learned very early on when I started teaching with these albums that I cannot tell everyone exactly what this width is because it's not the exact same for everyone. So I have us all cut it to a little bit wider than we need. And then when that happens, I make sure that you have definitely enough width. And mine is a little bit wider. This is a little bit wider. So when I adhere, it just is going to come a little bit over onto that little black area. I'm not worried about that. And your ribbon will cover that as well. So when I am making these type of albums, there is something very specific that I like to use to adhere the paper to the cover. And I have to apologize because I completely forgot to talk about this in your supply list. But I don't want you to panic because I will talk about and show you what I do, but ultimately you can do whatever you want. I like to use a glue stick. The reason that I like to use a glue stick is because I can get my glue all the way to the edges. If anything is ever going to start to lift in your projects like this, it will be the paper on the cover. So if I can use a glue stick, that makes sure that my glue gets all the way to the edge. Now, if you don't have a glue stick or you hate a glue stick and you like to use your handy dandy tape runner, I would, instead of putting the adhesive maybe on my paper, I might put it on the edges of my album. Or you can do it on the paper, but just try to get as close to the edge as you can. If you are using your tape runner, you don't want to leave this whole space open, right? Because if you leave that whole space open, that'll create like a big air pocket, and then you'll get kind of a really big bubble here, and you don't want that. So take your tape runner and then maybe go crossways and just get some additional tape in there so you try to eliminate any additional little bubbles, air bubbles. It's like scuba diving. You don't want the air bubbles, although I don't really know that because I can't scuba dive. All right, so I'm going to just take my glue stick and I am going to just get a nice coating all the way around that. If you would like to do this and you don't have a glue stick or you don't have one handy, there is nothing that we're doing on the cover right now that you can't do later. So if you're like, gosh, dang it, Lael, why didn't you tell me that? I really wish I had a glue stick handy. You could just kind of sit back and relax right now. And then later you can grab your glue stick and you can do this if you'd like. But like I said, doesn't really matter. I just prefer, I've made hundreds of these and I just prefer to use a glue stick. That's just kind of something that I picked up along the way. All right, so I now have a nice good covering on my cover. I just rotate it because it's easier for me to hold on to the paper with my right hand. And I want to start in the corner and get that as lined up as I can. All right, now eliminating any air bubbles. I want to just kind of press all around on that. I can even open this up and use that part of my hand to just really, really, really try to make sure that I'm getting that paper adhered. If I have a brayer handy, little roller guy, I can brayer that or roll it as well. Okay, so there we go. If I see that maybe my edges are lifting up a little bit, then I can come back and just pull it up slightly and add a little bit more glue stick. And that's the case. If 10 years from now, you're pulling out this project and the corners are lifting a little bit, just grab your glue stick or grab a little bit of glue and adhere that back down. So sometimes I will come in and I will take a, oh gosh, I gotta get those out of my little garbage can here. My garbage can is full. Just a little piece of sandpaper and just kind of sand the edges just a little bit. And that just helps to kind of press down on any little loose edges, all right? You may be a little bit, you might have a little bit of excess on the top there, on the bottom. That would just be because it's much easier for us to cut 3/4 than it is like 7/8. We talk about stressing out about our trimmers. I also learned a long time ago that if we can try to keep things to quarters and halves, it's much easier for all of us, you and me both. All right, so just kind of clean that mess up a little bit there. And now I am ready to roll. That makes a little bit of a mess when we do that. Okay, I need to break for 1 sec and turn on the fan because these lights are, the studio lights are very warm. So I have to put the fan at my legs, even though it's probably like 40 degrees outside, because I am middle-aged and in menopause. Okay, I know, I hate to say that, middle-aged. Okay, here we go. That is the start of our cover. Now, there are a couple things that we are going to start to pull out of our die cuts. So if you've had your die cuts set off to the side, go ahead and grab those again. The die cuts that we're going to need to pull out. We need the sun. There's the sun. We need one of our palm trees, and I did the palm tree that's kind of leaning to the left. So sun and palm tree. I need the castle, the big castle. Where did my big castle go? Oh, there it is. There's my castle. And I need the hot air balloon. So what's interesting, I don't remember when I unloaded everything. Oh good. Woo! I'm like, I don't remember seeing the hot air balloon. Okay, so those pieces we need, and while we still have our die cuts out, I'm going to get the rest of the pieces that I need, and then I'm going to put the die cuts off to the side again, just because they're going to kind of take up a lot of room. Okay, next up, I need 2 words. One says magic and one says memories. So that's why I put all my little words together, because I knew it would be easy to find words. There's magic. And there's memories. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our die cuts. And I need like 8 more tables. All right, we'll just put them on the floor. And then I also need our gold glitter punched Mickey head. In your kits, you had a baggie, and in that baggie, you had some ribbon, some small black punched Mickey heads, and then you had 1 gold punched Mickey head. So that is what we need for our cover, and then we'll do the ribbon later. Okay, so for the cover, oh, well, I said we should do this now in my instructions. I must have had a reason for that. grab your ribbon out, unfold it. This is wired ribbon. So I like to use wired ribbon sometimes because then our bow will kind of keep a little bit more of its shape as opposed to just a regular ribbon. So what I do is I'm going to open that all the way up. This is a yard. You only use the ribbon for the cover. So you don't have to worry about, trying to preserve some of the ribbon for something else. I open up the cover and slide that through like that. And I want to tie a bow, and I want my bow to kind of be up here. See how it's kind of in the top third of my cover? When you do that, you probably don't want this then to be even, right? Because when you do a bow, one of the ends has to be longer than the other to make it work. So let's see. It's always interesting to try to tell someone how to tie a bow. Sometimes it takes more than one try. And I didn't realize that. Well, I guess I realized that, but I didn't realize that not everybody is comfortable with making a bow until I started doing this. Since I started, one day I was teaching a class in person, and somebody said, I don't know how to do this. I'm getting very frustrated. And I'm like, why are you getting frustrated? Because I don't know how to tie a bow. And I said, what? You don't know how to tie a bow? And she said, I don't know how to tie a bow. And so I helped her. So, sometimes it takes a couple tries. Even for me, sometimes it takes a couple tries, right? Sometimes you don't get it quite even, or one of your ends is shorter or longer than the other. So if you need to take a little bit of extra time to tie your bow, you could pause the video and do that now, or you could just decide to do that later. You may have a few little wire ends that are sticking out of the ribbon. So if you do, just go ahead and trim those off. All right. The reason I think, it's been a while since I wrote these instructions. The reason I think that I had us do the ribbon first is so that we know our spacing of everything else, right? Because if I don't know where my ribbon is going to stop, then I could start magic all the way over here. And then when I put the ribbon on, I'm like, oh no, that didn't work very well. I was hiding magic. So that's why I did it the way that I did. All right, let's start with the hot air balloon. So the hot air balloon goes right up here in that upper kind of right-hand corner. One thing that I did, I will just grab my black pen. You can see on my sample, I have outlined basically like one little grid or one little square around the inside perimeter of that paper, just to kind of finish it off a little bit. So I will do that here real quick, since I forgot to do that before. I am not using a ruler. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but I can use that white grid or the grid to help try to make sure that I at least get it kind of straight. Kind of, sorta. Kind of, sorta. All right, there we go. If you want to outline, that may be something that you wait and do later, just because if you're not comfortable with it and you want to spend a little bit more time doing it, then you might need a little bit more time. Okay, so first up is the hot air balloon. Now in my sample, I have used pop dots. I love using pop dots just because it gives things kind of another little bit of an added dimension. But for the sake of time right now, I am not going to pop dot that guy up. I will end up pop dotting some pieces as we go, but I won't pop dot this guy up right now. If you would like to pop dot that up, you are more than welcome to. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that goes about 1, 2, 3, about 4 little grids down, I want to say. 1, 2, 3, nope, 3. 1, 2, 3. Not that it really matters, but there we go. Okay, then we have our little Mickey head. So that Mickey head is not Doodlebug. That is Lael. That's actually a punch from EK Success. So that is how I can incorporate things that are definitely Disney, right, in a project like this, because that's a punch that I purchased that, when EK Success made that punch, they licensed that through Disney. All right, so that guy, if I want to pop him up, I can do that as well, or I don't have to. So that one will go right there next. And now it's very Disney, right? I mean, if it doesn't look Disney before, this ribbon kind of screams Disney, but if it doesn't look Disney before, there we go. Oh, my little sun. So my sun, I just need to tuck under that little hot air balloon a little bit. So let's just kind of pop that right about there. Then we have our castle. And then that also helps to really make it look like Disney, right? So my castle will go right about there. I want to make sure that I leave enough space between the bottom, the bucket on the hot air balloon, and the castle. If you'd like to pop that one up, you can. I'm not going to pop it up. So what I want to do is I want to come back before I do the castle. I'm adding that little palm tree. So I'm just going to slide this over a bit. You can see in my sample, palm tree is partially hidden by the ribbon, and that's okay. Now, if maybe you are documenting Disneyland Paris or Disneyland Hong Kong or Disneyland wherever else there's a Disneyland besides Florida and California, your Disneyland may not have palm trees. So if you would like to omit the palm tree, then you can. Well, I should say, you can do anything you want. If you don't want to have a palm tree, you don't have to have a palm tree. If you want to add a sun and something else there, you can do that. This is your book now, right? This is your book now, so you can do whatever you want to it. I would recommend that you kind of go, let's see, probably fairly close. Let me tell you how many from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Add your castle 12 squares from the bottom. Normally, I'm not that particular, but we need to make sure we have room for our title here. So let's count 12 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was off by 1. All right, so we'll do that. Just gonna make one little mark right there so I know that's kind of where it needs to go. Okay. If you are pop dotting and want to pop dot your castle, then go ahead and take another minute and pop dot your castle. You can just pause the video if you'd like, or do that part later. I am going to just grab out my little glue pen and get some of those little turrets and flags. That will be a little bit harder to get with my tape runner. Okay, so this guy will go right about there. And now I can put my ribbon back. But my ribbon is just, while we're working on it, your ribbon's gonna get all skiwampus. Your ribbon will get all skiwampus. So I wouldn't worry too much right now about trying to make sure your ribbon looks super nice. Because as soon as we open that, it's going to move around a bit. All right, so magic will go here, and then memories a little bit more over here because I am using a large red enamel heart. Okay, so you have 3 sizes of enamel hearts, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 colors. So you have small, medium, and large, and then 6 colors. So I've used a large red enamel heart. And I am going to kind of get that guy set about right there. And then we'll go in with our title. If you would rather use a different color heart, knock yourself out. You use whatever you want. Those are basically like earrings. It's basically like jewelry. It doesn't matter which one you use. They're all interchangeable. If I used a red one there and you use a yellow one, and then later you're all out of yellows and I used a red or whatever, then you'll just switch them out. But I thought red would work well there. All right, so this guy is kind of going even with the little bit little bit even with the palm tree. And then memories. If you want to pop memories, if you want to pop dot memories, I pop dotted memories. So if you'd like to pop dot memories, you can. But again, you don't have to, up to you. Just so I can keep things moving along. I could spend another 10 minutes getting pop dots on all these pieces. So I'd like to keep us moving along. You can pause if you'd like, but I am going to keep us going. So I will not pop dot anything on the cover. And there we go. There is our cover. Hi, Tracy. Tracy says, just signing in to say I'm going to have the replay. Enjoy, love your classes, Lil. Thank you, Tracy. You guys, I got to meet Tracy a couple weekends ago at an event in Wisconsin. She loves color. And she gave me the cutest, most personalized charm for my traveler's notebook. Oh, it was so sweet. I love it when I get to meet you guys in person. All right, so here we go. Now let's move on. Let's keep on keeping on. Okay, inside front cover. While we do the inside front cover, we still need our entire book to be here. Once we get the inside front cover done, we'll be able to move the book out of the way, and then we'll just work on the pages. That'll give us a little bit more room. Okay, so inside front cover. Let's talk about our instructions for a minute. I want to orient you to the way that the instructions work. And this is the way I do all of my instructions. So whether you're taking an in-person class with me, whether you're taking a virtual, or whether you just can't wait and you want to do it on your own before we even get to the virtual class, they're all set up this way. You'll always have a picture over on the left. And then you'll always have in bold titles of what your pages should be. So here, inside front cover. Here, the icons page. There's more going on, but that's our base. As we keep going, like right here, that's the back of the icons page. This one is the 3x4, 4x6 pocket page. So you always know what you should be working on. The other thing is anytime you see a little call out like this next to a page, that is letting you know that something is happening, that is interactive. So in this case, this little piece folds up and it tells you, or lifts up, it tells you that in the instructions, but that's how you can see that it's interactive, and then you can see kind of what's happening underneath. Okay, so inside front cover. We are going to just add one little piece to this, and then I will leave it up to you guys if you want to finish this right now, or you want to just move on with me, because there are going to be times as we get going that we will be skipping pages. We'll be skipping some pages that are really simple so that we can get some of the really fun interactive pages done together. So I just grabbed my 6x8, one of my 6x8 white papers, and that is going to go down in the center. Well, not really center. I just want to make sure that I'm fairly even top, bottom, side to side. Some of that will end up going underneath my ribbon there. Okay. There's one more thing I want us to do together, because later you'll be like, where did that piece go? It is that small piece. And now Lael's going, where did that piece go? Yeah. And I remember I set it aside because I said, we're going to set this aside because we'll need it very shortly. It is oh, there it is. It's this piece. We cut this piece off of our icons 6x8. This little piece is the one that goes right along here. So I want us to go ahead and adhere that right now, just so it's kind of small. We don't want to lose track of it. So we will put that down right now. That will go about, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. That doesn't really matter exactly where it goes, but it will go right there. All right, so what you guys will do to finish this, and you can either pause the video and finish this part now, or you can just move right along with me and then you can come back. We're going to be skipping the easy things like this. Now all you're doing is adding the jewelry, right? You're adding a couple of stars up here, a red enamel dot heart. You're adding a magical title. You are adding the ticket booth, and you are adding one of your little word strips here that says Our Big Adventure, and a medium. What is it? What do I say? Medium black heart epoxy sticker. So all of that is very clearly defined in your instructions. So as we're skipping easy things like that, I don't want you to worry. Your instructions just told you all of those things that I just walked through. So that'll make sure we get further along in the project. One other thing that you see right here on that note, it says, unless otherwise indicated, as we are moving forward from here, from our inside front cover, when you see white blocks in the project, they are meant to represent photos. They are not part of the white cardstock that you'll be using. So for example, right there, that is a photo, and that is a photo. So your instructions, you'll know that. Unless it tells you specifically to use the white cardstock, things like that are meant to represent photos, are not included in your kit. That's where I will put photos. That may be where you put photos too. Okay. All righty. So now I am going to move my book out of the way, and we will not see this book come back. As we are ready to work on a page, I will have this open to the side, and I will bring in what it is that we need to work on next, all right? But our first page, that'll give me a little bit more room to play with. Our first page, is not a page in the book. It is this page, and we need two different things to put this together. So as we get going, we'll always take a look at what we're making first, and then we'll make it. So here we have a base page. Our base page is one of our icon papers that we cut. Right here, this is one of the cards. So when we were looking at our product at the beginning, we had this package of cards. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are so fun to use in a project like this. And I made myself really think out the box. Not so much on this one, but some of them, especially using the envelopes and kind of getting creative. Otherwise, you're like, oh, that's fun, they're cards. We'll have fun with them. So we want this card, all right? So we need that card. Go ahead and set the rest of your cards off to the side for a minute. I'm going to grab my hole punch while it is over there. And I need the shorter of my two icon papers. This is our icon paper that is 6 by 7.25. That's where this little piece over here came from, right? We cut that off. So 6 by 7.25, that will be the base of our page. What I want us to get in the habit of doing as we start working, I want you to get in the habit, and I will be here to help remind us to always, always, always punch our holes before we do anything. As you're working and we start to do a lot of interactive things, sometimes your papers can get turned over or turned around. And if we have our holes already punched, we know that is where we should be working. And we'll run into an example of that later. So I'm just taking one of my pocket pages from my book. I'm laying that right on top of the page that I need to add the holes to. I am going to grab my hole punch, and I don't even take the time to like trace the hole. I'm just setting that right on top, and I hold onto it with my thumb. So it's holding those two together, and there we go. Okay, so there is my page. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to go to the very end and grab that last 6 by 8 page that we had. That's going to be the one that I use. So I'm not, kind of every time looking for a pocket page to use my template. So then this can just kind of stay off to the side because I will use that quite often. Alrighty, so we have punched the holes along the left. We want to apply our adhesive along the back of our scallop circle card, right? And it is going to, actually, we'll also get this book out of the way. That will make life much easier on us. I'll have a lot more room there. So it won't be as hectic. And I will do my best to keep things neat because it's a lot easier for all of us if things are neat. Okay, so here we go. And I will take this and do my adhesive on the back side, and I will roughly center it, right? Centered-ish. And there we go. I have done 2 types of outlining on this page. I have taken my black pen and I have outlined around the edges. Now that is something I do on pretty much every single thing that I do. So you won't see me in the instructions talk about doing black outlining for the most part because I literally do it on everything. And I'll just give you just a quick side-by-side comparison. You can see how much it really kind of helps things to pop, right? Right is outlined, left is not. So black outlining, that is one type of outlining that I do. One of the tools I suggested that you have with you for class is a white pen. So I am going to outline with my white pen in this particular instance, but after that, I won't do any more outlining as we are working together, just because it takes a little bit longer. The white pen that I used, and oh, that's not it. I have been crafting for, hang on, there we go. 25 years. I've been, well, actually longer than that. I've been crafting since I was in like 2nd grade. But I've been scrapbooking for 25 years. I have tried probably 12 or more different brands of white pens because I really like the look of white on black or white on a darker color. They are not all created equal. And this one that I have, and it's the one I sell on my website, but I told you guys can use any white pen that you want. This one is amazing. And I don't just say that because it's the one I sell. I didn't sell these until I finally found a white pen that I liked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to tell people about this. But basically what I do, I'm coming in, this is a gel pen. So it works very smoothly. It is different than like a Uniball Signo. Some of you may know that Uniball Signo. It's gel, so it writes very smoothly. It doesn't skip very often. Sometimes it skips, and when it skips, basically it just doesn't write. If it skips, then I just come back over it. One thing that's really important, because the ink is gel, it's wet when you first write, okay? So if you worked with a gel pen before, sometimes, oh, there you go. That's an example of it skipping. So I just kind of start again. Get that, whoopsie, get that ink rolling and keep outlining. I want to make sure that I try not to rub my hand against that, but I'm going to show you, I want to do that on purpose because I want to show you a way to fix that. So let's do this. Let me come right up here. Whoopsie. I don't know if you can see that. Whoops. I smeared it. Darn it. I smeared it. That doesn't look good. I don't want it to be smeared. That's okay. All I'm going to do, I'm going to come back in with my white pen and write over that so it's no longer smeared. And if I'm writing over something, the white I've already written on, I actually lift up a little bit so I'm not pressing as hard. But then I take my black pen and I can basically correct. It's like reverse whiteout. It's blackout. I can come in with my black pen and just write over any of those little splatters or any of the smear that I had, okay? So I don't want you to be sad if any of your smears. Grab your black pen and then you can use it like you would whiteout. So black pen, white pen. All right, more fun things to do. So we need to go back to our die cuts. And the die cuts that we need here, we need the piece that says I heart this place. Now, that is a conversation bubble. It's like a little speech bubble. It is not a circle. So if you were separating your die cuts, and you put all your conversation hearts together in one spot, and you put all your speech bubbles together in one spot like I did, you will find that in the speech bubble compartment or separation. Okay. It's just that I don't want to use it as a speech bubble. So I just cut the little part off right there. So I need that. I also need they're like Siamese Mickey Mouse and Minnie, right? They're conjoined twins. So I had put all my hearts and stars together. This is why it makes it so easy. Spending some time decorating. Spending some time organizing up front will save you so much time because I know, oh, it's a heart. I'll go to my little heart container. There we go. Last piece that I need. When I told us to save one of our product strips from one of the Fun at the Park papers, and then we cut out that little Fun at the Park. That is the piece that I need. I just need to cut a little bit more that off. So this is not one of your die cuts. This is coming from one of your product strips, okay? We just cut that little Fun at the Park. That's the name of the collection, but that's really fun. It's fun. It's Fun at the Park. Why don't we use it? All right, so those are the three pieces that we need. What I want to do first, let's come in and cut off that little speech bubble. So I'm just kind of following the curve of that circle. All right. That I popped up, and here I do want to pop that because I think that you really notice if it's popped up. So I'll just take a couple of my pop dots or foam squares, and we'll put that right in the center of that circle. And I just think that little scalloped card now is so cute with the white little scallop around the circle, and then that goes in the center. Now, heart. That's kind of a plain little red heart. We have some really fun hearts. So we're going to grab one of our medium red epoxy hearts, and I'm going to put that right on top of the heart that's part of the design on our little die cut. So we'll just pop that right there. So now it's kind of a little fancy. Same thing with our conjoined twin Minnie Mickey. I'm going to use pop dots on them as well, just because I want those to stand out a little bit more. I could use pop dots on every single thing, you guys. I love pop dots or foam squares or foam tape or whatever. Just, especially when you're working with die cuts or even stickers, it just really adds, well, clearly adds dimension, but it just kind of adds a little bit of wow. It kind of gives it a wow factor without having to really do much. It's also an inexpensive way, because if you're using chipboard for everything, then you can spend a lot more. But if you're using your die cuts and stickers, then, so that'll go in the center right about there. And then the little fun at the park. Now, what did I do with fun at the park? Oh, there it is. And I'll just use my little glue pen for that. Oh, look, it says fun on the park on both sides. Okay. And that will go right down there. Okay, there we go. And that is the extent of the front of that page. When I opened that up, I added, or I did a little bit more outlining around the inside base of that card as it flips up. If you want to do that now, you can, but I am not going to take the time. As I said earlier, as we're outlining, I won't take the time just because it takes a lot longer, and we'll be here till the wee hours of the morning. And I know I don't have it in me to be here to the wee hours in the morning. I don't know about you guys. All right, so now let's go to the other side. And the other side we're going to talk about, we're not going to do. I mentioned earlier that there are some references in the collection to actually taking a trip to Disney. There are some references in the book, The Project, to taking a trip to Disney. I have included 2 die cuts here and a photo. So that's just a photo, not your white cardstock. Plain die cut and the kind of boarding pass die cut. If you are not flying to Disneyland, don't put those in there, friends. You don't have to do that. Just because I did that, you don't have to use those if they don't pertain to you. So we will skip all of that right now, and then you can decide if you want to add those pieces with your photo later. All right, there is our first page. Next up, this is actually another page that we are going to skip. We're going to talk about this. This is a super easy page. This is the beauty of pocket page scrapbooking. We don't have to do a lot of thinking here, right? If you want to grab your page, just as we're kind of talking about it, and put some of the cards in, you could do that. So I need Magical Vacation, and I need one of my 4x6. I need one of my 4x6 polka dot pieces. So there's Magical Vacation. Here is a 4x6 polka dot piece. And that is one of my little journal elements. Okay, so we'll just pop those in now. Then at least they're on our book, and then we'll talk about the rest, and then you guys can add the rest later. So, front page. Well, this is kind of, I guess it's the second intro page, if you will. We have a journal block, so that's a great spot for you to talk a little bit about your trip. In your little baggie where we pulled the ribbon and the gold punched Mickey head, you also have more punched Mickey heads. These are smaller. So right now, I'll just even tuck this guy right in here so he's ready for me when I'm ready for him. But I pop dotted that, and that gets adhered to the top of the pocket page. So there's no rule with pocket page scrapbooking that says things have to go inside the pocket page. I put things on the outside of the pocket page all the time. So there we go. Down here, I will put a photo, but I think right now I will also grab suitcases. This is another reference to traveling to Disneyland. If you are not traveling to Disneyland or staying at a hotel at Disneyland or somewhere near Disneyland, you don't need to put your suitcases. You could put something else there. Smiles from ear to ear. I will also tuck that. So I'm kind of just tucking things in my pocket right now. This little piece, I put all the little pieces that were kind of like that in their own little containers, so it would be easy to, they'd be easy to find. That is gray, so I can narrow it down. There we go, smiles from ear to ear. So as we are skipping these kind of things, everything that we just went through, your instructions will tell you all of those pieces. So I don't want anybody to be worried, like, wait, how can we skip? If we didn't skip some of those easier pages, we would be here for a really long time. Which isn't bad. I'm not opposed to that, but I want us to focus on the things that are more interactive that we need to do together. All right, so here, making memories, you will add, that is one of your little circle die cuts. I have a photo here with a strip that says our favorite trip. That is a die cut heart. And then this is a photo. So I put a photo over the postcard, right? Because the postcard's kind of going the wrong direction. And then that is one of our die cuts. So that is what you will do to finish up that page. And I'm going to sound like a broken record. Your instructions tell you all of those things. But that's at least kind of started for us, ready to go. Okay, next up, we have our first chipboard divider. So first chipboard divider. We will do this one together. We may or may not. We'll see how we're going. We may or may not do the other two together. If they have something interactive, then we will for sure do it together. Alrighty. So instructions tell us. See, now things are starting to get all messy. Instructions tell us we're now at the back of page 2. Chipboard divider. We need one of our 6x8 red papers. That will go there. We need. Okay, let's go ahead and put that down first. This will be kind of similar to the way that we did the inside front cover. We are centering it, and we're centering it so we have about the same space, top, right edge, bottom. We're definitely going to have more space over here. I don't cover the holes just because we can stretch our paper a lot further if we don't cover holes. So if you have washi or something like that, if that bothers you, then you could find something to cover your holes. Okay, next up, we need a couple of, well, before we get there, each one of our chipboard dividers, we will be doing something very similar on the tab. And that is using a punched Mickey head that will be pop dotted up and then using one of our enamel dots on top of it. So there's a punched Mickey head. Here is one of my pop dots. I cannot tell you. I think I'm on my 3rd punch now of this little guy. I have punched, well, I shouldn't say I because I don't do them anymore. Either my husband helps or I actually have a part-time employee that works for me now, or she does it, Lily. Probably, I want to say 10,000 or more. But this is a testament to the punches. I think I'm only on my 3rd one after punching that many. Where did my, oh, here we go. All right. So I need a medium. No, small. Medium. Doesn't really matter. Medium, small, whatever. That will go right there, just kind of on the edge. So you'll be doing that exact same thing, but with different color hearts on each of the tabs. And that's another way that we can kind of really bring Disney in, right? We don't need everything to be actual Disney, but if we have a few things here and there, that kind of helps tie everything together with the colors and the words and the patterns and things. Okay, so we have now some die cuts. So we have Main Street, we have a bird, we have a tree, we have a light post, and we have the trolley. Let's start grabbing a couple of those things because there's something that I want to make sure that I point out. You have 2 different light posts. You have one light post that says Main Street and one that does not. I have used the one that does not say Main Street, okay? It is the this is actually a clock, right? So we want the clock, not the light post. The clock face actually punches out of that die cut. So I want you to punch that out. Grab a tree. What did I, oh, okay, my trees are over here. I think these trees are exactly the same. So a tree will go here. My tree is going to end up covering that little thing. This will go here. I need Main Street, and actually I think for now I will skip Main Street and I will skip the seagull. Seagulls are very specific to, I know, well, Florida probably too, but definitely Southern California. They're also very specific to Utah because that is our state bird, probably because of the Great Salt Lake. All right, so I'm taking this little guy and it gets covered, the hole gets covered. Then this guy, we will adhere. And when you adhere your clock front, your clock face, we want to adhere that with a pop dot, just so it kind of pops out. Looks like it's 3-dimensional. So it's popping out of the face, out of the post. So there, we just need another one of our little pop dots or foam squares. And that will go right there in the center. I love that that's popped out. I think that's fun. All right, so that is all we're going to do together on that page. You guys will be able to grab your trolley, adhere it, grab the Main Street. adhere it, and then the bird, the seagull, goes on top of the main street. Okay. Back side, this is another one that we're going to skip. Trust me, as we get going, we have so many interactive things to create that you guys will understand why we're skipping. So the one thing I will do is just to kind of start to narrow down our stack of papers. Let's grab our 6x8 that has the yellow. It is the back side of the firework. So we can go ahead and at least set that down. Oh, one thing I do want to do before I do that, let's punch out, let's repunch that hole because we covered it up with the tree. Then we'll come back in with this guy. So I want the yellow tone on tone star side up, and I am just centering top, bottom, and left edge. Okay, there we go. So you will come back either later, or you can pause the video and do this now if you'd like. We'll have that sign die cut that's telling us everywhere to go. We'll have a photo there. And then we're adhering to die cuts where the magic begins, that little banner, and then that red die cut heart with a pop dot. Over here, I actually do want us to do that for a second because there's something a little bit different than I did. Grab your, now I know I can go right here because this is where all my hearts and stars are. You have some of these hearts and stars that are connected, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them connected. And 5 of them are just too wide to do on my tab. So I grabbed one of those. It looks like I grabbed that one. It starts with the yellow star. Doesn't really matter which one you grab. And I just took my little scissors and trimmed off like right after the star. So you can see there's a little tiny bit of red on there. So I just kind of came in here and just trimmed right off after the star. Just kind of follow that same pattern-ish of that star. And then that will go right there. So we'll do that, and this you don't need anymore. We'll end up doing that on 2 of the backs of our tabs, I believe. You'll notice now as I'm going, the only time I used that glue stick was on the front cover, just so that our base would stay secure. We don't need to do that as we, oh, I should have just used my, heavens, I should have just used my, sorry, my glue pen. Hello, words are hard. Okay, anyhow, whatever I was saying. And then on the top of that takes I got way sidetracked there. Way sidetracked. A medium little black enamel heart, just to kind of jazz that up a little bit. All right, so you'll be doing that one more time. Okay, there we go. That page is ready to go. So that is now going to go in our book. And I'll put this one in our sample. And next up, okay, so we have a couple of different lists here, all right? This will be the first of several different lists. Remember when we were, way back, seems like days ago now, when we were putting our book together, kind of putting it back in the order we were going to work on it, and I had us put this polka dot page, the little small polka dots at the very back. I want you to go get that now, okay? Go fetch that because we need it. And we are going to use this to back several of our lists. So our instructions tell us we are middle of page 2. This is the things to see page. Trim the black polka dot insert to 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so let's start from the left because we already have our holes. I am going to bring in my smaller paper trimmer now just because I have a lot less room to work with. So 3.5, I am going to, let's see. 3.5 is right here. I don't use this trimmer very often, so I just have to double check because it happens to be right in that part. Okay, 3.5. There we go. I'll put this other one aside. We'll need that for our next list. So we trimmed that to 3.5. We need to grab our list that says things to see. There we go. And this will adhere right there. So we've cut that so that piece will be perfectly centered. Well, perfectly centered if you put it in the perfect spot. Perfectly centered-ish. All right, So there we go. And then we will just need to come back and repunch those holes. So we have 2 of those. We will use this for another one of our lists. Turn that over, repunch our holes. Definitely want to repunch your holes because this is one of those examples. I said that we want to do it right away. Eventually, we are going to be working on the other side. And if we haven't punched our holes, we can get confused. If our holes, we end up turning this upside down like this, and then we make this really fun pocket, and then we go to put it in our book or punch our holes, and we're like, oh no, look what I did. So we can prevent that. You too can prevent forest fires. You too can prevent your pages from being upside down by punching your holes right off the bat. Okay. And then we will, golly, come on. I hate it when those little things get stuck like that. Then we will go to the back side. All right, how's everybody doing? Are we hanging in there? I think I can always tell that you guys are working away when everybody gets really quiet in the chat. There's like nothing happening in the chat, but that's okay because I know you guys are busy. I just like to make sure that someone is still there. It looks to me like people are still there, but sometimes it's hard to tell if no one says hello or no one asks the question, because wouldn't that be sad if I've just been chatting here to myself doing the whole book and no one's here? Actually, it doesn't matter if anyone's here. It just matters that I'm still recording because if I'm not still recording, then I've got to figure out how to go do this all over again. All right, back side. We are going to create a little pocket. All right, somebody do me a solid and pop into the chat and say still here or put an emoji or something so I know. Had to have a sip of water too while I was doing that. Okay. I'm going to trust you guys. Well, I'm going to trust me, I guess, not you guys. I'm going to trust me that we're still going. All right, down here, a truly magical day. Oh, good. Thank you, Sarah and Susan. Okay, thank you. I know, it's just that you guys get so focused, and I need you to be focused, right? But I just have to check a couple times because I have had that happen where I've been teaching and somehow I lose connection to the internet. And so I am no longer recording, and then that's a bummer. It's a bummer for you guys. Okay, so this is a little pocket. Look at my little tags here are tucked into that pocket. So what I would do here, this is a great place to add your park passes, add your fast passes to rides, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of those things in a bit. So we need to create a pocket. So this is the back of one of our 3x4 cards because it is a postcard. We need the Truly Magical Day postcard. So grab one of your 3x4 cards, grab the one that says Truly Magical Day. There we go. Don't be sad. Don't be sad that we are cutting up all this really great Jungle Cruise because we have a whole spread that we're going to do with all the little Jungle Cruise die cuts. So we'll capture the Jungle Cruise. We just like this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is funny. Do you see what I did, friends? Truly Magical Day is on the front. We need Truly Magical Day on the back. So let's turn all those over. Did you see my surprise? Well, you probably couldn't see my surprise, but you probably saw me hesitate for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. There we go. If we were in person, you would have seen a look on your face. Yes, Truly Magical Day. Thank you, Susan. Yes, it's the train. That's the one we want. It's the train. And you are just going to trim that to fit. So I'm, we need to, this is 3.5. So this is 4. That means we need to take 1/4 inch off of each of the edges, okay? So let's grab our trimmer because we want that to still be kind of centered. We want that design to be centered. So this is 3.5 wide. This is 4 wide. If we need it to be 3.5, we'll take 1/4 inch off of both edges, not both edge. Edges, not plural. Edges is plural. Okay, and then we do another one there. And now it is the width of our piece. So because it's a pocket, we want to only put our adhesive along, I've turned it over, we want to put all the adhesive along the sides and the bottom so that we can put things in here. I have grabbed, one of the things that I had on the supply list was some double-sided tape, 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and that's what I have here. If you don't have if you don't have 1/4 inch double-sided tape, do not worry your pretty little head. Go ahead and use your tape runner. I just, when I'm doing pockets like this, especially if I'm not sure what I'm going to be shoving in the pocket and how much stuff, I like to use double-sided tape because it's generally a little bit stronger. And this is a little bit less wide than your tape runner, so it leaves us more surface area for our pocket. I'm using, this is tape by scrapbook.com, but there's all kinds. Swooking, there's score tape, there's the red line tape. Sometimes I'll call it tear tape, and I call it tear tape because if you notice, I didn't get out my scissors and cut it. You don't have to use your scissors for this. You can tear it, which makes it a lot more, it just makes it go a lot faster. All right, so I put that, I don't know, maybe about 1/2 of an inch from the bottom. Doesn't really matter, but I just wanted a little bit more pattern on the bottom so it didn't look so white on the bottom. And there we have our pocket. So what I will have you guys do to finish this guy up, well, first of all, just go ahead and repunch that hole because you will not be able to get that in your book if that hole is not punched. But I have put a couple of tags in the pocket. And our instructions tell us the tags that I put in there, well, we can just look at them. We don't even need to read the instructions. I put life is sweet, hot diggity dog, and playing it safe. And I picked those just because I liked the pattern. So your instructions will repeat those. Well, they won't repeat them, but if you need those repeated, your instructions will tell you what those are. Little tags like this on the back. Great spot for journaling, right? Talk a little bit about what's going on at your trip or your visit to Disney. Or you can put a photo there or something. On the other side, you could either leave it like it is, or you could put a photo on there. All right, so then to wrap up, you will take one of your die cuts that says Park Pass, and you will adhere that right there. Now, when you adhere that, you only want to apply your adhesive to the lower part, not the upper part, because if you apply it to the upper part, you won't be able to put anything in the pocket. You just locked your pocket. We don't want our locked pocket. And then that little arrow that says fun. All right, so that one will now go into our book. And we're moving on, moving on. All right, this one we're going to talk about. I want to talk about some things. So I'm going to take a few minutes and veer a little bit from our current project. I want to give some ideas to you guys. But we'll talk about this one to kind of get us started on that. I have left this pocket page open. It is completely blank, right? I added the little map die cut on top. I added happiness starts here on top. I added a large white enamel heart on top. When we turn to the back side, I have added those with clear glue dots because I didn't really want to be able to see my regular adhesive. To cover up the back of that happiness starts here, I put feel the happiness. So with this, I will be leaving this blank. So if any of you joined me on Sunday for the December documented project, there were a number of pages that I left empty like this, or we recreated something like this. So we kind of had that fun little see-through peekaboo effect. Some of you are like, that's great, I love it, done, let's move on to the next page. Some of you are like, yeah, I don't know about that. I think that's kind of weird. So for those of you that think it's kind of weird, let's talk about what you could do here. Or you might still like this, but I want to give you another idea. So I'm going to put this in my book for a minute. And I am going to pull out one of my past, where did I put it? Disney projects. Oh, here we go. This was from, oh my gosh, this is from many years ago. But I did some things in here, and usually when I teach a Disney class, I like to pull this out and just show you some different ideas. So I am going to turn to the very back of my, my album. In the back of my album, I have some things that I collected from one of our trips. Sarah, you have that? I love that. Oh my gosh. This is, oh heavens, this is a really long time ago. I was going to see if I had dated. It has seen better days. I don't think I dated it. I'm just curious. I didn't. Anyhow, so let's talk about what I have in the back here. When I travel, whether I'm going to Disneyland, whether I'm going to another state, whether I'm going to another country, if I know that I'm planning on documenting that trip, I collect all the things, okay? When I say I collect all the things, I collect all the maps, I collect everything. And I will either bring a bag with me. So a bag with you. You could bring, you know, the plastic like big Ziploc bag that your kit came in. You could take something like that. If I forget to bring something like that, then right as soon as I get to Main Street in this example, I will stop at one of the stores and I'll buy a postcard or something so I can just get a little brown sack. And then I start collecting. So, oh, I bet this would tell me when. 2017. So if this may have been from 20, I know that is, but not sure when I did this book. Anyhow, so I grab all the things and I grab multiples because you're at the park. If that's in your backpack or what, bottom of a stroller or whatever, some of them might get messed up. So I'll pick up a couple of the maps. I picked up a map to California Adventure, a map to Disneyland. I just punch holes in them and they went straight in my book, right? So this guy straight in my book, but I can still take it out and I can open it up. Here is a reason why you might want to do something like this. There are some things in this map that no longer exist at Disneyland, right? There's no Star Wars land over here. And I don't remember offhand what they took out to put Star Wars land in, but this is now like, oh my gosh, this is like vintage because there are things on this map that don't exist anymore. I wish that I had maps from when I was a kid because when we get to Frontierland, Bear Country Jamboree isn't there anymore either, right? So your maps start to do a little bit of a date and time stamp, right? So I think it's fun to have things like that just to kind of tell part of the story and to also date it because there are cool things that used to be at Disneyland that aren't there anymore. Or I should fast forward, and I'm not a fan of Star Wars Land, but you will have maps of things that are new at Disneyland that weren't on your older maps. Okay, now I mean nothing against Star Wars Land. Okay, so that one will go back in. So you can take your maps and you can punch holes in them and put them in. But you can also do something like this. So this is one of our 6x8 pocket pages. If I didn't want to punch a hole in the map, then I could put them into my pocket page. So those of you that don't want to leave this blank, look at, there's a map there. So guess what? Collect your maps and pop them in there. Great place for memorabilia. And it's a little decorative, but then it's a good place to also store your things. Even these, this is March 31st through April 6, 2017. Oh, I know that's not when I did this book. This is much later. But look, it tells you all the things that are happening. So again, a little bit of a date and time stamp. California Adventure Food and Wine Festival. So those are in there. Those will next go in my book. Now let's look at some other things that we might want to collect and have with us in our albums. Here I have collected 4 different things in my pocket page. So this is a pocket page that has 1, 2, 3, 4 pockets. I have the tickets to Disneyland. I think, well, yes, I know when we were there because this is when we were there in 2017. They were giving you paper tickets. So I took the paper tickets that we had. 3 of us went, my husband and our younger son and I went, and I saved the tickets and I put them in here. These are fun little memorabilia, right? Because think back to earlier when I was talking about the e-ticket books, right? We were talking about the e-ticket books or the ticket books and the e-ticket rides. If I had something like that, how cool would it be to have in my book? Well, tickets like this that get us into Disneyland are soon going to be a thing of the past. These won't exist, just like the ticket books don't exist anymore. So having things like this, it's kind of cool. I like to save those. Over here, I have saved a receipt for our 3 tickets. So April 1st of 2017, 3 of us to go to Disneyland, $372. That's a chunk of change, isn't it, for 3 people? I tell you what, 20 years from now, I'm going to look back at this and go, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It was only $372 for us to go to Disneyland? Gosh, that's cheap, right? We also, though, we finished early. And so then we took our tickets back and they let us exchange those to get entrance into Park Hopper Pass or something like that. So I kept both of those. I kept some of the other receipts of just shopping and things that we did at Disneyland. So those are there. And then the fast passes. So fast passes are very similar to those guys, right? Fast passes will also be a thing of the past. In fact, I don't even know, I mean, this was 5 years ago. I don't know if, 5.5 years ago, if these still exist. But those are really fun because they tell a story. One day, if I'm sitting down with grandkids, if I ever have them, they'll be like, Grandma, what is that? And I'll say, oh, well, it used to be you had to stand in line forever. But then they did this thing called a fast pass. They're gone. Sarah said they're gone. Okay, so now look, that's like vintage, I was going to call it paraphernalia. It's not paraphernalia. Vintage memorabilia. So I can say, oh my gosh, so finally Disneyland got smart and they let you get this thing called a fast pass. And if you came back within this time, you could go to a different line. Just collecting things like that is kind of fun. All right, last thing I want to show you. I told you guys we were going to segue for a little bit because I think it's just fun to talk about some of these things that you can collect at Disneyland. This is a divided pocket page, and many of the lands in Disneyland, the little Adventureland or Frontierland, have penny pressing machines, right? So I had taken 2 pressed pennies and I put them in my divided pocket pages. Now, because those pockets were open, I had to go back in and seal them up. I used a fuse to do that, but you could use, you could either sew on a sewing machine with it, or you could try to make sure we don't have as much glare there. Let me try to turn it that way. Or you could even shut it with washi tape, but you do want to shut those so they don't get lost. You can also do that. That came from the candy store. That was with a quarter, right? So those are kind of fun things to do too. I also bought a couple of the little metal charms that they had in one of the gift shops, and those went on top of my pocket. So just some fun things to do there. One last thing that I want to talk about, and then we will get back to our project. Hopefully it's in this one. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. So I talked about e-ticket rides for a minute, right? We talked about the ticket books and the e-ticket rides. Those have a very special place in my heart because, as I mentioned, my grandpa would take us to Disneyland and he would be the one that gave the tickets out to us. So very fond memories of my grandpa. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So look what I have here. That is a ticket book from Disneyland from way back in the day. Now, I wish I could say that this was real. I wish I could say that I had the foresight way back then when I was 10 years old that I might be a scrapbooker one day and I might want to save something like this. I didn't. Where I got this was Google. All I did, I didn't have to pay for it. All I did was I Googled Disneyland ticket book. And there were all kinds of images out there. So I found one that I liked. I liked this. And I clicked on it. I right-clicked on it. I saved it to my camera roll. And then I printed this out. So that is very much kind of part of my memorabilia because it is part of my memory. And then here I kind of talk about that right here about how that reminds me of my grandpa. One more thing while we're here that I want to talk about. Other photos. So this is really how I remember Disneyland. Disneyland, the sign does not look a thing like that anymore. Because I was younger when I have a lot of my fond memories of Disneyland. And so I wanted to have a photo of that to include in my book. I didn't have that kind of photo. You can see this poor thing has seen better days. So all I did, again, go to Google. I searched for Disneyland sign from the 50s or something like that. I didn't go when I was in the 50s because I wasn't old enough. I wasn't born then, but vintage Disneyland sign or whatever. Right-clicked on it, saved it to my camera roll, and then just printed that out just like I would. I also like to do that with character photos because sometimes trying to get a photo of a character when they're just by themselves is near impossible, right? There's usually 1,000 kids hanging all over them. If you go to Google, search for Mickey Mouse, right-click, save it to your camera roll, and then print it out, then you can have some photos of the characters like that. Now, this one actually was not that. This is a postcard. So look at what I did. That one is a photo from the internet, but this is a postcard. So I just bought a postcard in a gift store and then wrote on the back of it. Okay, so that was a segue, but I always like to, incorporate those little ideas because those are the things to me, especially for Disneyland, that very much, just kind of, they're good memories for me. That's how I think of Disneyland. So I want to save those things. So now we've talked about that and some things that you could do without pockets. Okay, now I keep on going. Next up, we have this page. So grab that page from your book and let's look at what we're doing first, because there's a lot more than appears to the eye on this one. The things that we will not do together, we're not going to take the time to add that piece. That's a die cut with a small enamel red heart on it. We will not take the time to add that piece. That's just another die cut. Those are things that you can do after the fact. We want to focus on this. So what we have going on here, it just looks like a double matted photo, right? It looks like we have some teal and it looks like we have some yellow and then we put our photo on it. There's so much more going on here because look what happens. I can pick this up and I can fold it down and then I can pick it up and fold it all the way up, okay? So to make that, closed, folds down, folds all the way up, scatters in the way. We need to have our yellow card and our teal envelope. So grab your yellow card and your teal envelope. There's my yellow card. And here is my teal envelope, okay? So this looks far more complicated than it is, I think. And it is far more complicated to try to write the instructions of how to do that than for us to just do it together. All right, so the first thing that we're going to want to do is we want to adhere our envelope to the bottom of the page so that our flap is opening up. So grab your adhesive. Ah, I knew that was going to happen. I am prepared. I just used the last of my tape runner. So hang tight while I replace that. If you would like to do the two pieces that I just skipped, the parade die cut and the banner die cut, you can do that while I do this real quick. Yeah. Always have extra adhesive handy. There is nothing more sad than you're working on a project and you're cruising right along and you run out of adhesive. Especially when you're teaching. But even if I do that when I'm teaching, because sometimes I just don't realize, and then I just have to go run and get some more. Alrighty, so that goes there. That goes right there. And I love it when the adhesive's brand new. It's so smooth. Oh, I don't have that in quite right. There we go. I had that up too high. There we go. Okay, so now we're ready. This will go bottom center like that. All right, now we have our card. So our card, if we open it up this way, okay, our little mountain is right here. This is like a mountain peak and this is like a valley, okay? Valley, it forms a V. That's how you know it's the valley too. But here's our little mountain peak. I want you to flip up your envelope flap and apply adhesive to the flap. Normally where you would lick it. I won't make you lick that. We can use adhesive. Take your card, so it is in the mountain is on top, okay? The mountain, that's what I mean. The mountain's on top. And adhere this right there. Okay, so we look like that. We put our envelope down, we lifted up the flap, we put our adhesive on the flap, we had our little card, so now it's standing and it makes a mountain. Oh no, Joanne said she just, no, Joanne, yes. Joanne just ran out of adhesive tape too. She's been using dots and tear tape. Oh yes, that will really slow you down, won't it? Okay, so there we go. Now we have our little peak and that is how that little guy works, right? Looks much more complicated than it is. Oh, and I didn't quite get that, didn't quite get that straight, did I? So when as I try to just place this so it's straight, when I am crafting, I stand up. When I teach, I stand up as well. I stand up because I like to get a bird's eye view. I can make sure things are straight. But if I were actually working, this would all the way be back here because this is where I actually am, but you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. So I'm way up here so you guys can see it, which means I don't get a very good bird's eye view. So sometimes things are crooked. All right, right here, I have taken two of my little circle die cuts. One says a magical day. The other one says next stop fun. So I want us to get these two out right now. So magical day and next stop fun. There's next stop fun. And there is magical day. Now I adhered these with pop dots. You don't have to. And I think for the sake of time, I won't right now. What I want to do is I will turn this guy over and I am going to put my adhesive on the back side, but just the bottom half. This guy will hang over the top, okay? So it's not adhered to anything. Well, it's adhered to the bottom of the card, but the top is completely free. When I fold this down, I want this piece to back it. So I want to make sure it is facing the right direction, okay? So there we go, facing the right direction, and that just meets up with the guy on the back side, like that. All right, so there we go. There is your little interactive piece. Opens up like that, folds down like that. So we have room. Look at how many photos now we can add on that one page. One, 2, 3, 4, and then guess what? We can even put photos in the pocket, or in the pocket. It is a pocket. We can even put photos in the envelope. So we could probably put 3 or 4 photos in our envelope too. Look at how many photos now we can capture. That is all we're going to do now on this page, because everything else, our photos are going on top of. And actually, your photo will go there too. You may just need to peel that off in order to put your photo in there. Peel it up a little bit. On the photo, your little photo will go there. That guy, and this I'll have you guys add later also. That is just one of your little tags, that XOXO tag. And I just outlined that with white. Okay, so there's our first little interactive element and using a card and an envelope. On the back side, we have 6 more interactive elements. So let's go to our instructions. We are middle of page 3, diagonal striped insert back. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of our square cards that we cut earlier. These were the ones that are all individually cut. And we need picture perfect day, love and happy day. We also need the snow cone. Don't worry that those are upside down. They have, oh no, they don't have to be. I'll talk about that in a minute. Snow cone, train, and this so many choices. I'm going to illustrate why we want to do this differently. The fact that they're upside down. So, snow cone, the camera, oh happy day, these, the train, that guy, 1, 2, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. I need a train, oh, and love. Train, oh, and love, wow. I'm sure I passed that like 8 times. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We are creating little dog doors. Okay, so when I say dog door, does everybody know what I mean? A dog door is the kind of door that you'd have in the bottom of a door that a dog or a cat or a little pygmy pig or whatever little animal you have that likes to go in and out by itself. The dog or animal runs through the door and it like flips up, right? So those are 6 little dog doors. That guy will go there. This guy will go there. Oh, happy day will go there. These guys, these other 3, we are using them for just the polka dot pattern. We want to have a nice contrast with the polka dot pattern. We need to score all of these. So we're going to start out by scoring these 3. Then we will talk about these other 3 that we want to treat a little bit differently. So I want you to grab one of the tools that I suggested you bring with you to class. Either a scoreboard or a bone folder. So if you don't have a board like this, that's okay, don't be sad. If you have a trimmer that is similar to this, doesn't have to be a Fiskars. Really what we're looking for is a little arm like this that has a blade, and the blade travels in a little valley or a little channel like that. Basically that little valley or channel is no different than all the little valleys or channels on our scoreboard. So I will do one with this, and then I'm going to do the other ones with my scoreboard just because I prefer that. So I need to, from the top of these 3 cards that I have where I'm using face up, I want to score a 1/2 inch from the top. So if you haven't scored before, you don't score very often, there's a very fine line between scoring and cutting or tearing. So be gentle, okay? 1/2 inch from the top of those 3 cards. I do 1/2 inch because when we adhere, make sure we have plenty of room for our adhesive that needs to go behind those little scored areas. All right, so we're good with those 3. Those are no brainer because they're face up. These guys are face down, right? They're going to be like this. But when you flip them up, well, when we flip mine up, those are backwards. So I'm going to have to for sure put a photo on there. No, I'd probably put a photo on there anyway, and I'd put a photo there. I'd probably put a photo there and photos on behind all these. This could really take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I could do 15 little 2x2 photos on that one page. That's a lot of photos. But if I'm not going to do a photo there, or I don't want what's there to be upside down, I need to score these a little bit differently. If you look at these 3, if I want them to be right side up, I can turn all these over, and I want to score them 1/2 inch from the bottom instead. These I did from the top. If I score these 1/2 inch from the bottom, then when we flip them up, they will be facing the proper direction. So let's pull in our scoreboard or little trimmer again. These are all 1/2 inch from the bottom. So there we go. 1/2 inch from the bottom. These are a little bit bigger than 2 inches. 1/2 inch from the bottom. And 1/2 inch from the bottom. All right. You can put those away, and I will put that away. We'll use that again soon. Now I will turn all these over and apply my adhesive to the scored edges. But I have to think really hard before I do these, because now I'm thinking, oh yeah, my adhesive always goes on the polka dot side. It doesn't for these. Our adhesive on these, we want to be on the pattern side. Okay. That will make sure that we have everything ready to go, and when we flip up, our pieces will be in the correct orientation. Okay, so starting out with this guy. This guy will go about right there. And then he flips up. There's our dog door. And then this next one was the train. So if I put this one right here, I'm a little crooked again. I can't see well. Then I flip that up. Look at, my train is the right direction. Next up, we have the snow cone. So snow cone, actually, you know what I'm going to do next? I'm going to do Oh Happy Day next, because then I can split the difference right there. Okay, and then I can also see it's pretty even. That will go there, and now snow cone can go right there. Then I don't really have to measure. I'm just eyeballing. It's about the same difference. Snow cone is the right direction. Whoopsie. I didn't press that down very well, did I? Okay, and then this one goes here. And this one goes here. So to wrap that up, I have added 3 little die cut hearts, one on each of those little polka dot doors. All right, there we go. Okay, next one. We are going to skip this page, but we will talk about it. I have taken 2 of my 4x6 film strips. There is a photo there and a photo there. They go in the pocket page. I add one of my little punched Mickey heads with a pop dot, and I add that Dream Big speech bubble with a pop dot. Backside, super simple. All I did, photo, and then I've added that die cut on the top of the pocket page. So skipping all of those things, our instructions will show us that picture, and it will also tell us what to do. All right, next up, we have another interactive element. So this is a page that we are making. We need to grab our red envelope. So grab your red envelope. We also need to grab our connected tags. So there were some tags that we left connected, right? This is one of the set of tags that we left connected. So we need those 2 pieces for what we're going to do. Let's take a look at what we have here. So this is the front of the envelope, right? Where we normally address and add our stamp. Front of the envelope, our holes are on the left. When we do that, bloop, bloop, and you have to make that noise when you open it like that, bloop. That's why we left our tags connected, so we can make a little fun interactive element like that. And basically we're just going to accordion fold those. When we turn it over, look at here, we have an envelope. We can open our envelope and we can stick photos in there, okay? So very first thing we want to do, we want to punch our holes. And this is really important that we punch our holes first, but it's also really important to check how our envelope is oriented. The way I'm holding it right now, if I punch my holes, look what happens when I turn the page. This is like closed. I can't get in my pocket or get in my envelope. So we want to, and I don't want to confuse things any, but I want us to turn it over to this side. We're going to this one time, punch our holes along the left. Punch our holes along the right. I'm so used to saying along the left. Punch our holes along the right. That way we know that this is on the right side. Correct side. Yeah, the correct side, because we don't want to mess it up. So let's take our little template here and get it kind of centered. Doesn't really matter if it's not exactly centered. And we will punch our holes. All right, friends, as we start getting later, it is now 10:20 on the East Coast. It's a lot. It is a lot to do these at night. I know it's a lot for you guys to do them at night, especially if you've been working all day, or you have kids or grandkids or pets even. Sometimes your pets take it all out of you, whatever it is. I know it's a lot. So if you get to the point where your mind is kind of spinning, oh my gosh, never mind. I thought I ruined that because my mind is kind of spinning. No, I thought I messed it up. But if you're getting to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I don't want to mess up. You know what? Either leave and come back and watch another time, or just kind of hang out with us. All right. So there we go. Let's go back to this side. Now we know we punched that on the correct side. So I need to come in and just snip off these little guys. And remember, you can always come back to watch the video. If you were watching live and then tapped out, you can always come back, and lots of you watch the replay. You can't make it live. So then you can watch it whenever you need. All right, so I need to accordion fold that. I just will grab my scoreboard again real quick here. And I'll just come in, and sometimes I don't have a space. I may not have a space exactly where I need to score that. So in that case, if I didn't have a space, I didn't have a space, I just kind of move it around until I get right where I need it to be, and then I'm good. Remember, we're just trying to score. We don't want to cut. All right, so now accordion fold, basically we're just going like that and like that. And I should have left my scoreboard out, but I'll just grab my bone folder right here. If you take your bone folder and press down on those edges, that will help that little guy to kind of stay down a little bit. If not, it's going to be like a big spring. All right, so put your adhesive on the back side of that. And that will go right up towards the top, because you want to make sure that you have enough room, probably about 3/4 of an inch from the top. You want to make sure that you have enough room to add that family favorite and then your large white enamel heart. All right, so that is all that we're going to do with this page. To finish up, you will add those pieces, and your instructions tell you what to do there. And then you will also add that little bag. So I just put adhesive on one side, not the other. Okay, back in our books we go. Next up, we have another interactive. So we will do this one together as well. This one, oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, we're okay. We had skipped a page, and then I just didn't turn the page. We're good. Okay, so our base for this page should be our graph paper. Here is our graph paper. In this case, we're going to make a double door. Okay, so when we made the dog door, we scored, turned it over, applied our adhesive to the scored edge, and that adhered, and that made a door. So this is a door. It is hinged right before our little cards. They were hinged at the top. Our dog door was hinged at the top. This door is hinged on the right and opens from the left. Okay, But remember when I said it's a double door? Well, there's another little door right here. This is one of our little cards, and it opens, it's hinged on the left, opens on the right. So we need two pieces for this. Let's grab our little red card right there. And then we also need our top of page 4, we need our 6x8 cameras piece. Back to our stack. There is our 6x8 cameras piece. Now that is a little bit too wide. It's a little bit too wide because if we put that here, then we don't really have enough room for this guy. Our second door will be locked. It won't work. Hi, Mary-Lise, I just got home. Just wanted to say hi. I'll be doing the replay. Can't wait to make this. I'm glad that you popped in. Thank you. And you will have a load of fun. We're having lots of fun. At least I hope we're having fun. I can say we're having fun. Hopefully you guys would say that too. All right, so it's a little bit too wide. Our door is too wide, so we need to trim it. Instructions tell us to trim that to 5.5 inches wide. It is 6 right now, so we just need to cut 1/2 inch off. Okay, now we will swap our trimmer for our scoreboard because we need to score. Our door opens on the left. That means we need to score on the right. So we will score 1/2 inch from the right edge. And we will turn that over. When I'm doing doors like this, and I didn't do it on the little ones because the little ones are little, so I'm not too worried about it. I generally, this is what I like to use my double-sided tape for. Just so it's nice and sturdy. If I'm opening and closing that door a lot, we want our hinge, right? Our hinge is this. We want our hinge to be in good shape. So we'll pull that off. And it's going to adhere to the right edge of our page. I need to be very specific when I say this. I'm adhering to the right edge, but right now I'm going to rotate this. So my holes are on the left. It's much easier for me to then rotate this in my right hand and work with it that way. So, but you need to know that that's just what I did, or you will be like, wait a minute, what happened? You said the right edge. Why did you just do it on the left edge? Okay, there we go. Now this little guy is easy. This opens up, hinges on the left, opens on the right. So when I put my adhesive on, I'm only going to put it on like kind of the right half because I don't want to cover that up. If I put adhesive there, I will lock my door, right? My door will not be able to open, and then that will be sad. All that work for nothing. Okay? So that is all we're going to do there. What you guys will do to wrap that up, that's just one of our little 2x2 cards. Although, let me look at instructions because we may have had to trim that down a little bit. You do. You need to trim that card just to fit a little bit. It's a little bit too large. I just wanted those little white dashes to remain there. So if you didn't care about those white dashes, then you could just put the card right on top. All right, so there is the front of that. Now we have the back side. So the back side, we actually have another door. Our door here hinges on the left and it opens on the right. Now, if you were watching on a big TV, I don't want you to pay attention to what I did here. Do you see how I punched a hole there? And I also punched a hole there and I tried to cover it up so you couldn't see it. Ignore that. I ended up doing something different. So don't bother, don't pay any attention to those holes. What we need for this door, exact same kind of door that we just did. It hinges on the left, opens on the right. We need our 6x8 piece of the castle. 6x8 castle. There we go. We will score 1/2 inch from the left. Turn that over. Put our adhesive on. And, excuse me, 1/2 inch on the left, yep. Score 1/2 inch from the left, turn it over, put our adhesive along the scored edge, and then we will adhere that to the edge of our page. And that will be our door that hinges on the left and opens on the right. Like so. As we're skipping things, and like I said, we're skipping a lot of things just so we can get to the interactive things. Well, not a lot, but we're skipping so we can get to the interactive things. If you go to crops, or even maybe you participate in my Saturday listing sessions, but you don't list. Adding the things like the jewelry here, those are great things to do, whether you're at a crop or maybe you're scrapbooking with friends or you're listening to another YouTube or something. Then those are just some of the easy things that you can do. Okay, so there we go. What I added on the inside here, I added that little speech bubble that says "Let the magic begin" and a large red enamel heart. Okay, so those will now both go into our book. I think when you sit down to finish, you'll see that we have all the heavy lifting. We've done all the heavy lifting, so it'll be really easy for you to go back and do all the fun stuff. Well, not the fun stuff, because what we're doing is fun, but the easy stuff. All right, so here we have a 6x8 confetti piece. So I don't remember what is on the other side. Oh, there we go. It's one of our red pieces. 6x8 confetti piece. We also need a quick sip of water. We also need the black. Oh, that's funny. I have a project cart that my things are sitting on over to the side. The project cart, the tray is black. Well, it's gray, but it looked black. It's dark in here. So I'm like, uh-oh, where did this piece go? It was just hiding. All right, so this on mine, it has a little barcode sticker. So I just gently want to lift that up. Actually, you don't even really need to lift it up because your die cut is going to cover it up. But I'm not going to do the die cut right now. We're just going to take these two pieces and get them down. So you can go back and kind of finish that up later. We'll add that. It will go right here to the left of the holes. Excuse me, right of the holes. Even-ish top, bottom, right edge. And then this little cute envelope will go here. Like so. You will wrap this up later by taking that little circle. I adhered that with a pop dot. So it's just adhered up here, not below here, so I can still get in there. We take this little carousel, the elephants, kind of a little bit reminiscent of the flying elephant ride, right? But this is a carousel. Then you have your pocket. So your pocket, or your envelope in this case, is a great place to add photos, memorabilia, whatever you would like. So it's kind of fun. I took my white gel pen, right? I took my white pen and look at what a difference that makes, right? I outlined that black envelope and it just stands out so much more with that outline. So if you are white penning with me, if you are outlining, then that is something that you can do later because those little scallops will just take a little bit longer. Then just like we did on the first tab, you will take your you'll take your punched black Mickey head, pop with a pop dot, and you will add it to the tab and then add a white medium white enamel heart. Gosh, that's a lot of words. Okay, here we go. This guy. This one we're going to do together just because there's something that I want to show you when we are creating a door on one of our pages that come from the book. So this is another door, hinges on the right, opens on the left. So let's grab both of these pages. We need our 6x8 stamp paper. There it is with the little backpack up in the upper left-hand corner. And then we also need another one of our reds, okay? In this case, what we're going to do, we are going to put our red down first, but our red, we are going to put all the way over to the right edge, kind of like we have been doing, right? We're gonna keep an even space between the top, the left-hand edge, and the bottom. So nothing too different yet, right? Nothing too different yet. This will go in here, like so. Where we're gonna do something a little bit different, this will be our door again. So we will hinge, or we'll score 1/2 inch from the right, we'll hinge, we'll turn over, put our adhesive, but when we do that, we're not going to put this right here. We have extra room to play with, right? We're gonna just bop it over and it will cover the holes. So then that way we kind of have an even border all the way around our page, but then we also have a little bit of a nice red polka dot contrast right there, okay? So grab your scoreboard again. score 1/2 inch from the right edge. Turn it over. Apply your adhesive to the scored edge. This reminds me, I don't know, I think Beetlejuice. That vertical stripe totally reminds me of that. And then kind of Pirates too. A little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean, which is another ride I love. All right. That one's changed over the years though too, right? Okay, Mary Ellen, thanks for joining. Pop in again and finish up whenever you're ready. All right, I am rotating again just because right-handed it's a little bit easier for me to do this way. I will, right there along the edge. And then there is my door that opens on the left, hinges on the right. Now I just need to repunch my holes because I've covered up those holes. What you guys will do to wrap that up, there is another one of our die cut pieces that we had to just kind of bisect a little bit. We had to take a couple of the parts off so it would fit. There is a small white enameled heart in the center. And then we're creating a little tab with a ticket. So we'll take a look at that in one quick sec. Put that back in my book. We're creating a tag with a ticket. So ticket goes here, part on our door hangs off the edge, open it up, another ticket, part on the door hangs off the edge. And your instructions show you all of that. Okay, next up, we have this guy, our yellow envelope. This one faces a different direction than the other one did, right? The other one, we had the flap on the back. So this one, our flap is going to be on the front. So we need our yellow envelope. We also need our connected 3x4 cards. We left 2 of our 3x4 cards connected. So we're going to do a little door here, okay? So I need to either score that in half or fold it in half. Folded in half. This is adhering to the flap of my envelope, and then it opens up like that. And then I can add things into the pocket. I can add tickets, I can add receipts, I can add photos, whatever I want. Okay, so super simple. We just need to turn this over, and we want to add our adhesive at the bottom of the trolley. So basically just along the trolley wheels. That will make sure that we leave this open. So basically it gets centered. It just looks like it is a card that is mounted, right? Matted. That just opens up like that. All right. So to finish that one up, you'll add a little bit of Disney to it by using one of your black punched hearts and your black punched Mickey heads and then the large red enameled up. Okay. I outlined, obviously, you can see that I outlined that envelope. Oh, Cully. Okay. I almost got us in trouble because I didn't do what I said we should be doing, right? Take that before you do anything else and punch your holes, because when we get to the other side, I could accidentally get that turned around and then it could be upside down and then we'd be sad. But guess what? If that happens, it is what it is and you just move on. Well, I can say that when you do it, but when I do it and you watch me do it, then it's harder to say that, because if you followed me do it, then I feel bad. Okay. So here we go. There is our other one. All right, backside. So backside, we are not going to do together. I have basically added a photo, added a little park shuttle, a yellow star with a pop dot, and then a small blue heart sticker. Okay, next up, we have this guy. There is another one of our lists. So you're starting to see a pattern. Each of our sections has a list that is part of it. So there is the piece I had cut off before, and I need my thing. I need my favorite things piece. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That will go there centered. And then I just need to punch the holes. I just add a little light blue heart there on the back side. I want to talk about the back side. So let me just punch my holes really quick because I can't not do that. And then we'll talk about what is happening on the back. And we won't do what's on the back, but I want to talk about it because it may not be as obvious to what I did there. I mean, the instructions would tell you if you read them, but sometimes if we can talk about things ahead of time, even though we're not doing them right now, when you get to it later, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can't remember when she talked about that. sorry. Such a pain to have to stop every time and dig those little guys out. All right, so there we go. This one's going to go in my book, but we'll look and see what we have done here. So this right here, this is one of our 3x4 cards. So we're using 3x4 cards a couple different ways, right? The one that we just used, we left two connected and we made kind of a little book or a little door. This guy, we are going to fussy cut, but I am not going to do this right now. I just want to show you. So this is the card, and you can see where I have fussy cut. I just cut around the hill or the grass, around the castle, around the balloon, around the clouds, and then back down again. And then I add one of our little, that is another, it is a speech bubble. So I add that little, I just cut off the little thing, the little, oh my gosh, my words. I'm having a difficulty with my words right now, friends. Let's just show you. Here it is. Here is the best day ever. I cut off that little part and it goes down right there with a pop dot. Woo! Okay. So that will be something that you can do later. I added a photo right on top, and then what a small world. Because who doesn't love small world? I love the small world. Okay, I won't sing it for you though, because you don't want to hear that, I promise. All right, next up, we're just going to do one little part of this. Susan said, how do I see the time we are at on the video so I can start here tomorrow? I can tell you. Oh, maybe. Can I? Hold on. Let me touch the screen. Let's see. Joanne gave a suggestion, but you know what, Susan, if you will tell me this, if you will email me and say, will you tell me what time on the video? We need to know like how far in. Like I'd say, oh, we're at 2 minutes or 2 hours and 40 minutes, whatever that is. Say, will you tell me when you have the fun day flip up page? And then I will fast forward because the video will already be done and I will tell you the exact time marker. I'll tell you the exact time marker of the flip up, the fun day flip up page, but just email me and say, what time is the fun day flip up page? Okay. So this, we're just going to do a little part of this. We have something interactive going on here. So I need the next page in my book. That page is one of our pocket page, 2 3x4s and a 4x6. So up top, your instructions are going to tell you, oh, look it, we're on page 5 now. Up top, your instructions will tell you, insert the carousel card, adhere a photo to the postcard side of the gondola card. So there's the gondola card. You're just here adhering the photo to the postcard side. But what we have going on here, this is a little interactive. Oh, you're welcome, Susan. You are welcome. Get a good night rest. Okay, so here we go. This is interactive. Look at this lifts up over the pocket, but this part is tucked inside of the pocket. So that's just 1 6x8 that we score. Part of it goes into the pocket, part of it tucks over. But look, then on top, we also have another little guy, one of our little cards. So let's get those two pieces out. We need the small black scalloped card. And we need our 6x8 fireworks paper again. There we go. So those are the pieces that we're using. Let me grab another drink really quick of water. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to score this paper so it will fold over the top. We don't want to score it in half. If we score it in half, it is not, it's too short. So we want to score 3 3/4 inches from the top of the paper. So this is the top. Well, I know you know that's the top. I didn't really need to say this is the top, did I? Okay. Here we go. So 3 3/4 inches from the top, and really it is the same. I'm just going to do that. That's the top right here. So 3 3/4 inches from the top. There we go. This then will fold down like that. We want to round the top corners. So where is my corner rounder? I thought I had it out somewhere. Okay, let me grab another one. Hang on, I'm just leaning over to grab my corner rounder. we'll use this big guy. Okay, so we want to round the 2 top corners as it's open. So those are on the shorter side. There we go. And there we go. So let's just, that bottom part will tuck into the pocket and the top part folds over the pocket. So here we go. This goes like this, that tucks in, and this folds over. Now you can see why we couldn't do it in half. The pocket is a little bit taller, so we needed to do that. This little guy will also flip up the exact same way. So let's turn him over. And we'll do that like that. So to wrap up, you will add your cards up top for kids of all ages. That is a die cut heart with a small sticker heart on top. And then I have done fun right here, day right here, your little bumper car, and then a couple of other little die cuts right there are layered, okay? Your instructions will show and tell you all of those things. Exactly, same case on the back. You will have the back of your cards, so you'll add photo, and then you'll add photo here and a couple of pieces on the back. Okay, we're cruising right along. Next up, this is one that we will be skipping. Yeah, we can skip this. This is one of our 6x8 pocket pages. There's something we'll do on the back side though. One of our 6x8 pocket pages. So this has a 6x8 red polka dot. Might as well just tuck that in right now. It has a 6x8 red polka dot. Your instructions will tell you to take the 5x7 1/4 small polka dot piece. It's the one that has the squares on the back. So this guy, right? That is going to go right there. So I might as well pop this in at the same time, just so it's ready for me. This is one of our tags. It is a red polka dot tag. So I'm going to grab that right now, just so later I'm not trying to find it. It is not that guy. It is the red polka dot tag. Where is it? Oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hang on one second. Where did these go? Hold on. Hold on. Hold tight. Pause for a second. Pause for a second. What did I do with those? Pause, pause, pause. I think that's from a card. That is not from a tag. So hang on. Let me find which one it's from. Because I did not have two. All right. I think it must be from a card. Yeah. Dee-dee-dee. Hold on, let me look and see what I have here. Best day ever, small square card. Sarah, thank you. I'm like, okay, I had the same products as you guys, so I have no idea what's going on. So I apologize. Your instructions are incorrect. You are not cutting that from the tag because the tag is connected. We are grabbing that thanks to Sarah. It's coming from the best day ever card. Sometimes when I do the instructions, like in that case, I apologize. I forgot what I did. So hopefully I didn't mess anyone up there. That will go in there. All right, so that's the front. The back side, what we are doing here, and we'll just get this guy adhered. We have another one of our envelopes. This is the black envelope. So the black envelope we will turn over. We will put our adhesive on. This we are adhering to the top of the pocket page, okay? So it's just going right on top. And then it's just an envelope like our other envelopes. I used my white gel pen to outline everything. But it was just kind of plain. I felt like it needed a little bit more something. So the tag. The tag is adhered, but it's only adhered in one little tiny place. It is here just right there because it goes like that. And then it flips up, okay? And then we can add again photos, memorabilia, receipts, whatever we want to add to our pocket, okay? Oopsie, I didn't press that down hard enough. Okay, next up, we will do part of this page. So the next page in our book should be the designer page, the one that was included in the book that has the black and white stripes. Okay, so sometimes I just like to switch things up a little bit, right? There's a lot of 6x8, 6x8, 6x8. So sometimes it's fun to cut some of the things so they're not 6x8, and that's what we did here. So this one says we're at the bottom of page 5. Trim 1 inch from the top and bottom of the striped insert. So grab your trimmer. Trim 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom. And save these pieces, I think we use them. 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, so there's the start of our little banner page. Now we need to make a notch. So a couple of different ways to do a notch. I'm actually going to grab a larger pair of scissors because that will, oh, ouch. That will definitely make it easier. So usually what I do, because I just kind of go for it, I just start cutting that way and I cut that way and then they meet in the center and I'm good. But I know that makes some people nervous to do that. So another option is to basically take your scissors and just snip like that to where you want your point to be. And then I will come in from this edge. And then I just flip it over because it's just easier for me to hold that way. And then come in from this edge. And they meet in the center like that. Okay, so there is our little banner page. That is all that we're going to do together. Because now all you're going to do is adhere a couple of die cuts. So we have our Ferris wheel die cut. Up here, we actually have 2 of our little title banners that they are layered on top of each other, slightly offset. So the yellow one goes first. The yellow one is the, I don't know which one it is. The yellow says where dreams come true. So yellow one goes first with pop dots, and then Land of Imagination, the teal one goes next, and it's just slightly offset. So there are a lot of those little banners. And don't feel like you have to use them all. Well, don't feel you have to use them all individually. I thought this would be a great way to use another one of the banners by just doing a little bit of layers. So it kind of is like a shadow, okay? Backside, totally skipping because photo and then the little steamboat. So I will put that guy into the book. Next page, we are actually the next couple. I'm going to bring the book in because the next couple of pages we are going to skip. So let's look. The next page that we should have in our book is another 4x6. So 4x6, 4x6. We are inserting yellow card and then adding we'll add a photo and then the little tram, whatever that is. And then we will adhere. Okay, let me try that one more time. Adhere your photo and the tram die cut to the yellow card and put it in the pocket. Wow, that was hard. Wow, that was hard. And then wow gets adhered to the top of your pocket page with a small yellow heart. Down below, we have 4x6, kind of the confetti page. Adhere your photo, and then it goes in the pocket. All of these things right here are on top. Fantasyland, the saucers, and round and round. Those are all on top. Round and round is pop dotted. And your instructions show and tell you all of that. Backside, photo, and then the love tag with a little speech bubble, the heart speech bubble. Down below, photo, and then on top of the pocket page is that little stamp. All right. So next up after that, we have the lined notebook page. This is one that we will also skip together because here we're just adding die cuts. So Adventureland, we have Adventureland. We have our little hippo. We are now to one of my favorite rides. We are to the Jungle Cruise. So we've added our second palm tree here. We used one of our palm trees for the cover. There's a palm tree. These little light blue things, those are actually intended to be bubbles. So those could be bubbles either from the boat, if the boat is like little bubbles, or they could be bubbles from our hippos that are underwater and they are blowing bubbles. They're about ready to submerge. No, emerge? Whatever. So hippo, Adventureland with pop dots, palm tree, bubbles, the cruise boat, and then we have the little submerging, I don't know, whichever, if that's the right word. It's the guy that's coming out of the water, or going under, I guess, with pop dots. So he's kind of layered. Looks like he's coming in front of the boat. All righty. Backside of that, actually, backside of this one, let's do together. Because there's a little bit more that is going on. Let me get this out and then move the book out of the way. So on the back side, we have the red card, and we also have this black card, okay? Black card, red card. So let's take a look. First, the red card hinges on the left, opens on the right, okay, like a card normally would. But this card is like this. We have the side, and then this part opens from the top. So we can do photo, we can do journaling here, we can open up, we can do photo or journaling, okay? So easy once you see that. I mean, probably easy, I mean, you don't need to see it, but much easier if we see how that works and then do it, as opposed to you guys trying to read the instructions, because sometimes just trying to write things like that is a little bit difficult. All right, there we go. And then that goes just slightly below that top line. This guy, we want to make sure our little tab is on the right. And it goes right like that. So it's sticking off the side a little bit. Oh, okay. Not very good teacher. What we need to do, I need to move that a little bit, because I don't know if you could see, we need it to be about an inch from the left edge. And I bet my instructions would tell me that. We need it to be about an inch from the left edge, because we need this to be able to clear the hole. And that will show you basically exactly where to place it. So it clears the hole when it's in the book. So this flips. This flips up. This opens. You will add adventure, your red die cut heart. You will add your kind of Minnie Mouse journaling card, family fun, and then a large blue heart. Oh yes, Joanne. I'm sure you're exhausted. I'm sure, oh, look at, there's my corner rounder. I'm sure everyone is exhausted. So you don't feel like you need to say goodbye. I mean, you could say thank you. I appreciate that. If you're heading out and want to say goodbye, absolutely say goodbye. But I will keep powering through, because I would like to get us done. And that means get us done whether you are with me or not. Because eventually you'll come back and finish. All right, next page. This is our third divider. So we are now in our last section with this guy. We will not do this together, because actually let's just get at least the paper on, right? So it's that one with the little carousel up top. We'll at least get that done, so it looks like you got something done. That will go right there, centered, top, bottom, and along the right edge. And then you will do one more Mickey head with a pop dot and then a light blue heart. The back side. So this is where your list, we're still incorporating a list, but it's a little bit different here. So I want to talk about this. These lists here are not their own pages. And we actually are taking both of the last two lists that we have, all right? Travel checklist. I didn't end up using travel checklist. What I did, I'm using my favorite moments as one list, and then I'm putting the back side of the travel checklist. This will go down next, and I will add photos there, okay? So we'll just go ahead and put our adhesive. Now you can kind of do a little bit of listing or journaling about your favorite moments from either this trip or this visit to the park. Or, like I said before, if you are documenting more than one trip, maybe these are your favorite Disney memories, then here you can write about what some of those memories are. Okay, there we go. A yellow die cut heart there, and then fireworks, speech bubble there. So I will probably put a firework photo there because it says fireworks. Okay, here is another little interactive. So we need our last card. This is the teal card. The teal card actually opens on, it's opening backwards, right? It opens on the left. So it's opening like this. So you can see here, it's opening like this. We need to trim that because we need to be able to punch holes, right? So we are at, oh my gosh, we're already, we skipped a bunch. We're at the top of page 7. We need to open the teal card and trim 3/4 inches from the right edge, okay? Right edge, very specifically. 3/4 inches from the right edge. That way, when we close it, we can punch the holes, and then our little door there will not interfere with the holes. Punch our holes. This guy that we're using, that we've been using all along, the one that we pulled from the back of our book, I don't use this. When I do a Disney book, I usually like to include one of these in the back because then you have another place to put the pamphlets and guides and things like that if you'd like. Okay, so this we're actually done with. We're going to talk about, well, let's just talk before I put it away. You will add a photo here. This piece right here, we are fussy cutting from one of our cards. There, okay? So you're fussy cutting that bow from the card. So it is sticking off the top of our little door. You'll add your photo, you will add the bow, and then you'll add that little die cut, our favorite, with a black medium heart. When you open up, you can add journaling, you can add photos, you can add whatever you want. When we get to the back side, we have another little dog door. So I want you to grab the best day ever tag. Oh, I'm going to sleep well tonight. Who's going to sleep well tonight? I hope so, right? I hope I sleep well tonight. It's a lot of brain power today. Okay, let's see. Looking for the things. We know it's a tag. We know it's a tag. It's got to be in here. There we go. Okay. So I will notch that. And then we're making it, it's just a little dog door. It's just like the rest of our dog doors, except this one just happens to be a tag instead of a card or a piece of paper. So we'll pull this out. Score a 1/2 inch from the top. Turn that over, apply our adhesive to the scored edge. Oh boy. Well, it could have been worse, friends. It was only the book that we've been working on. That could have been much, much worse. All right, I'm not going to worry about that. Let me just pick the pieces up off the floor. Oh goodness, what a mess I made. We just need to hope that I'm not now digging for, oh lordy, I'm not digging for the pages that we need. We'll find them, no worries. Okay, so there we go. Like I said, could have been so much worse because look at, here's all my die cuts over here. Oh, please don't have that happen after I just said that. Okay, everybody think good thoughts. All right. Yes, the worst could have been if I dropped all the die cuts on the floor. We'd be having 200 pickup. 200 die cut pickup instead of 52 card pickup. Okay, there we go. Well, now I'll just toss that over to the side because I don't need to put it in the book. Okay. Next up, we are going to, let me just grab this because I think we're about ready to skip a bunch of pages again. Next up in our book is a 6x8 pocket page. So our instructions tell us to take a 6x8 pocket page. And we're going to, look at, there we go. Take one of your 6x8 white papers. and put it in there. That will be the base of whatever you're doing in here. But at least if we can get that in there now, it's in there. Another thing I want you to put in here now is one of these pieces. This is what we cut off for our little black and white striped banner page. That is the piece that goes right there along the bottom. So pop that in there as well, so you have that when you're ready to work. The other piece that I want you to grab is, let me look at see what my instructions say. It's this one. No, it's not that one. Squares on the back. Oh, golly. Okay, this guy. This is, let me get that out of the way. This is that, all right? Squares on the back. That is for our photo. So if I put those 3 in there right now, then at least I know what those are and where to find them therein. Once I'm ready to build that, I will add my extra pieces after I add my photo. Okay, backside. The backside, I think I'm going to have, well, no, we'll do. I think it's just easier if we do it. What we're doing, grab your 3 connected cards. This is a pocket, right? These are, and these actually are your 4x6 cardstock pieces. So normally I said, unless otherwise indicated, when you see white, they are photos. These are not photos. These are 2 of your 4x6 pieces that we cut. These are for autographs, okay? So if you wanted, you could take something like this with you to the park, or take regular old cardstock, and as you are taking photos with characters and you're getting autographs, you could have them autograph pieces and then tuck those in the pocket, okay? So these are my 3 connected tags. All I'm going to do here is notch our pieces, notch our corners. And then we will turn our connected tags over to the other side. We will put our score tape or our tape runner along the sides and the bottom. And then we're adhering that to the top of our pocket page, right? Normally, we don't make pockets and adhere them to the top of a pocket page, but that makes it really easy to access whatever we have in the pocket since it's on the outside instead of the inside. So turn over, apply my adhesive there, along the bottom and along the side. And I will go ahead and adhere that to the top of the pocket page. Gosh, even if you're watching the replay, you may not do this in one full sitting. It's a lot. It is a lot. These mini books, they take a while, but they're so fun. They're so fun, but it's a lot of work for you guys. Okay, so there we go. There is my pocket adhered to the outside of the pocket page. And I'll just tuck my 2 4x6s in there right now. So that reminds me that that is a pocket. You have a couple of extra pieces that you can then add to finish that up. All right, so next up will be another pocket page, a 3x4, 4x6 pocket page. So this one we will skip, but we'll take a look at. This one is see-through. You see that? My popcorn die cut, I just tucked it inside of the pocket page, but that's kind of fun because then when I have stuff over here, it kind of is a little peekaboo effect. So here we're starting to talk about the food at Disneyland. We were a 3x4 card. We can do a little bit of journaling. We have a 4x6 yellow star that goes in our pocket with the photo. And then these guys, actually these 2 are inside the pocket, but that little popcorn guy is popped out on the top of the pocket page. On the back side, we just have the back of our cards. And I just added that little circle to the top of the pocket page on the back of our little popcorn cart, just to, you know, so it's a little bit decorative. Alrighty, next up, you have another one that we will skip. This is our 6x8 dot grid paper. And I just took some of the die cuts. So some of the food, right? The pretzels, the hot dog, the snow cone. I love this one. Isn't that so cute? The ice cream cone with the chocolate chip cookie ears with the bite out of. That is just the cutest thing. And then of course, this one, like this is not one of the most iconic foods at Disney. the Dole Whip, right? So I put a little Dole Whip down first, pop dotted the pineapple, and then a large yellow heart. Guess what? I've never had a Dole Whip. Isn't that insane? I mean, I've probably been going to Disneyland for 40 some odd years. I have never had a Dole Whip. I don't know why. Every time I talk, because I talk about Dole Whip a lot in these books, because I like to incorporate the food. Every time I say that, I'm like, gosh, I really should have a Dole Whip. I don't know why I've never had a Dole Whip. Maybe next time. Okay, next up, backside. So ice cream. So there's a little ice cream cart, a couple of ice cream cones. There you go. Alrighty, we have another interactive page. So I'm going to grab the page that is in my book next. Guys, we're in the home stretch. Home stretch. All right, so here is our base page. And let's take a look first. We're creating a door. We're creating another dog door. I know. How is it I haven't had a Dole Whip? You know what? One of my favorite, it's not a ride, it's an attraction. I love the Tiki Room. Like seriously, I love the Tiki Room so much. In fact, and let me see if it's in this book. I love it so much that, remember when I was talking about earlier, how I would go find photos from Google and put them in my book? Oh yes, so you can tell I like the food. Although this can't stand. I don't know, people that walk around with the turkey leg, bleh. But that's part of Disney, so you gotta talk about it. Okay, I'm just looking very quickly to see if I can find, oh, there's the Tiki Room. Okay, I thought I had, in one of my books that I have done, I actually went in and, oh, don't look at that. That's me a long time ago. That's a horrible picture. But you got to get in your books. Okay, so I went to Google and I Googled Tiki Room, like vintage Tiki Room photo. And I found a photo of inside the Tiki Room. And all the chairs were lined up. And it was like a bunch of school-age kids from the 50s, like watching the attract. Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. So that's in one of my Disney books. I know, Sarah, that's why I say it's so funny. I know the Tiki Room dumps right out at the Dole Whip stand. And I love the Tiki Room. I always go to the Tiki Room, just have never had a Dole Whip. I know, it's insane. What kind of Disney fan am I if I'm an imposter. Okay, so we're doing our little dog door. We need this guy. This is one of our 6x8 camera papers. So dog door, we will hinge 1/2 inch from the top, turn it over, apply our adhesive to the back side, and adhere to the top of our page, with one exception. This is too wide. I wanted it to be a little bit more narrow. So I trimmed that down to 5.5 wide. Look it, we're almost done. 5.5 wide. Actually, the timing is actually, I usually plan on about 3 hours. This one we're a little bit over because I kind of segued and wanted to talk about some different things that you could collect and add to your book. So we're doing really well. I just trimmed 1/2 inch off of that. Bring in our, my words are not working anymore. Bring in our scoreboard. Wow, that's how you know you're tired. Bring in our scoreboard. Score 1/2 inch from the top. Turn it over. Apply your adhesive to the scored edge. And then we are going to adhere that to the top center of our large polka dot designer page. Okay. Like so. Oh, my mouth is so dry. It's a lot of talking I've been doing. And it gets center dish, right? There we go. Okay, so then what you guys will do to finish that, you will add a photo. You can add your little speech bubble that says cheese. And at the bottom of the photo, I've added a little camera. You flip that up. And then you have the film strip right there. You have all the space for journaling, photos, whatever you'd like to add. Back side, that is, even though it looks like one giant photo, it really isn't. This is another case where you are taking your 6x8 cardstock, right? There's our 6x8 cardstock. We'll just go ahead and adhere that right there to the back side, to the left of the holes. Okay. Right like that, and you'll be good. Okay, last up, our last page in the book is your divided pocket page, so it has 2 4x6s. You will come in and take your last 2 4x6 cards. You will trim down your last 2 light blue pieces for your mats. So I will at least right now take these and put those in the pockets just so they're there. If you wanted, you could even just put these in there too. Your instructions will tell you to trim those light blue pieces to 3.5 by 5.5, but I'm just going to go ahead and put both of those in there like that. And then you can add your photos. I've added black and large black, medium gray, large black, medium gray. On the back side, I have nothing, so I will add photos. All right, friends, the very last thing that I've done back inside cover. You have 1 page left in your book that we have not used, and it is this one that has the numbers along the side. I am going to take my trimmer and I will trim off the holes. So I'm going to trim just to the left of the holes. I want to maintain those little numbers because I think they're sure cute. And that will get adhered to, oh, okay, okay. Here's my stack of when it fell on the floor. That will get adhered to my back inside cover. Oh goodness, now I'm like working on top of things. My inside back cover. That will get adhered right there. And then to wrap that up, you will add a couple more die cuts. So I have the Mickey heart, I have a magical place, the banner, our second banner, and then the Minnie Mouse bow die cut goes at the bottom. Yay! You guys did it! Even if you stuck with me the whole time tonight, you did it. Even if you started tonight and left and came back and did it. Even if you watched the replay, you did it. Yay! Okay, I am going to turn on the overhead lights. I am going to turn off the studio lights. And I'm going to flip the camera. And I'm sure I'm going to look ready for bed. Well, not dressed ready for bed, but I'm sure I'm going to look like it's been a long day. But I might as well put my little ears back on because some of you didn't get to see me with the ears on. Okay, here we go. Get the ears on. Oh goodness. Okay. Unplug, and I'm going to flip the camera. Okay, here we go. Usually when I say, I gotta say this. Keep your arms and legs in the ride at all times because we're going on a ride. We're spinning the camera, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at, there we are with the ears. Okay, well, it's gonna be a little bit weird. Okay, friends, you did it. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I always love when I do a Disney album. Like I said, I have such a soft spot in my heart for Disney because it reminds me so much of my grandpa. Anyhow, I hope that you guys enjoyed tonight. I hope, like I said, if you're watching the replay or you are out and in, that you take the time to finish and that you enjoy it and that you add your photos and your words because that part's really important. So let me take a quick look at the chat. Let's see. Sarah, thanks, Lael, for another fun class. Can't wait to put my trip memorabilia in it. Okay. You guys, if you are not hanging out with us in the Lael by Mail Facebook group, join. I mean, all you have to do is go to Facebook if you're on Facebook and search Lael by Mail. There's a Facebook page and a group. The whole reason I bring that up, because when you add photos and when you start adding memorabilia and things, I would love it if you'd come in the group and share with everybody what you did. But really also share with me, because a lot of times I don't get to ever see what you guys do and what your books turn out to look like once you've added all the fun things. So if you want to do that, I would love to have you there. Let's see. Sandra, I just watched tonight, but we'll work on it this weekend and watch again. And you know what, Sandra? From what people tell me, you are not the only one that does that. I think, I don't know, some people might sit back and maybe they're in bed or they're on the couch and they have their feet up and they have their favorite beverage and they just kind of hang out and watch and see and then come back later and do. So there is nothing wrong with that. And that, just think, when you come back later to do, you'll be like, oh yeah, I totally know what I'm doing here. All right, friends, let's see. I won't see you this Saturday. Those of you that list with me, won't see you this Saturday. I'm teaching again, actually the next 2 weekends. This Saturday, what's today, Wednesday? I don't know. What's today? The 3rd? The 7th? The 6th? Anyhow, I won't see you this weekend. Or the 6th or the 13th, I will not see you, but I'll see you on the 20th. If you're listing with us on Saturdays. If you haven't, then you should come hang out with us on YouTube. 9 a.m. Pacific on Saturdays. If you don't do that, very last thing is I have 2 brand new mini book project kits that I will be emailing about on Friday. One is a brand new collection. It is a family recipe book with the new Simple Stories Hearth and Home, I think. The other one is one of the Simple Vintage collections. So it is weathered, I don't know, something. I can't remember. My brain said. So I will have sneak peeks to share with you on Friday, but those are currently up for pre-order and they will start shipping about the middle of the month. So thanks for joining me tonight, you guys. If I don't see you soon, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hopefully I'll see you before Christmas, but if I don't, have a wonderful holiday season. I should say holiday season because I know some people don't celebrate Christmas. Have a wonderful, oh, my mouth is dry. My brain is dead. Have a wonderful holiday season and happy and safe new year. And I'll see you after the new year. So take care, you guys. Bye-bye.